Which one are you going on, Sa?
We are on Black News 102. And we are live right now, brother. So just relax. We are live right now.
Come on.
Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another Sonetta TV, Black News 102. All right. Yeah. Y'all ready?
Oh, yeah. All
right, relax. What's going on live right now? Intro music.
Sonetta TV, Black News 102. Whose words will survive when we purge the lies? That curse the divine, cast the pearls to swine. Reverse the design, even merge divide. Sonetta TV where two worlds collide. Might hurt to decide just who words will vibe. When we curve all the jive, whether girls or guys. No herbs left alive in this earthly skies. Sonetta TV where two worlds collide. Clash of the Titans, facts will enlighten. Some spitting mad, but they ain't half as exciting. This platform we battle for the souls of man. Those kidnapped and trapped upon stolen land. Doesn't matter where you at on this earth. Africa's the true origin of your birth. Teaching you true health and wealth, knowledge of self-worth instead of killing your health, going to jail over turf. We all truth seekers asking questions. Should we seek them in the shrine lodge or the lessons? Is the answer ancestral science or religion? Is it freedom or Willie Lynch a little different? Is it Indian, Aboriginal, indigenous people? Should we worship money? Is it still a root of all evil? We all born with mental shackles if we black, and the only thing that's gonna free us is the actual facts. Whose words will survive when we purge the lies? That curse the divine, cast the pearls to swine. Reverse the design, even merge divide. Sonetta TV where two worlds collide. Might hurt to decide just who words will vibe. When we curve all the jive, whether girls or guys. No herbs left alive in this earthly skies. Sonetta TV where two worlds collide. Is it the gods and herbs or the Moors? Should we master UCC and commercial law? Is it being Muslim, Christians, or the Jews? Should we push the old school and need something new? Is it atheism, Egyptologists, Hebrew Israelites, flat earthers, herbalists? To get our people right, I'm in Rod Squad, RBG, or New Covenant. Should we work for it? Should we overthrow the government? Should we all go for self, being savages and vultures? Pan-African or is hip-hop our culture? Is it nationality or correct status? Should we integrate Me Too or Black Lives Matter? Should we hit the streets with the Panthers? Unify the gangs? Is all-out war the right answer? Are we Asiatic or Arabian? Should we just free Dr. York and be Nawapi and a Sabian? Whose words will survive when we purge the lies? That curse the divine, cast the pearls to swine. Reverse the design, even merge divide. Sonetta TV where two worlds collide. Might hurt to decide just who words will vibe. When we curve all the jive, whether girls or guys. No herbs left alive in this earthly skies. Sonetta TV where two worlds collide.
All right, peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another Sonetta TV, House of Conscience production, Black News 102. We are here with Brother Jabari and Michael Edwards. Time to square off. Michael, welcome to the big stage, my brother. Mike, you hear me?
Oh, yeah, peace and Black Power.
All right, peace and Black Power. I said welcome to the big stage. We got Brother Jabari here. I'm going to allow you two brothers because y'all been going back and forth on Facebook. And y'all both decided to come on the show and do it together and do it today. So we're going to get it in today. I want to let you know that you got 8 minutes of peace to speak. There will be absolutely no disrespecting each other. That's a violation. Anybody disrespect, call each other out their names, your time is immediately up. So I just want y'all to know that. Don't think I'm being unfair. That goes for both of y'all. No talking on each other's turn unless y'all have been given a question. Like say Michael might ask Jabari a question or Jabari might ask Mike a question. Y'all could get head on in there and answer the question. Remember, they got me out of the search engine. So it's very important for our people to click on. It's very important for our people to like the video as you come in. Notice they got me out of the search engines on both of my channels because they said that, you know, I was violating stuff. And so they took me out of the goddamn search. So that's why people don't know if I'm alive, if I'm live. They, you know, people just got to find out, go past, and they might see my joint live and they'll find out that way. But anyway, who would like to go first? First of all, let me just say, go ahead and introduce yourself, Michael, and let the people know why you are here today. Don't be long with it. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Well, this is the RBG Hebrew, and I'm very grateful to be here with the brothers Sarnetta and brother Jabari. Everybody knows who I am. I'm pretty sure most of the people on this platform already know who I am. But the reason I'm here today is to do what the Bible says that a priest is supposed to do, and to speak about how our community can benefit from righteous ways. Matter of fact, some of those ways will be, well, most of those ways will be sexual. We're going to talk about a lot of homosexuality, and we're going to talk about a lot of what should be taught to our people and what's best for our people. So it's going to get turned up, and we're going to go in, and I apologize to everybody for not having my Mac yet, but I'm working on that. It's just taking me a good bit of, you know, I got kids. So, so thank you, Brother Sarnetta, for this opportunity, and I'm ready.
All right, Brother Jabari, introduce yourself. Let the people know why you're here, brother.
Peace, family. As I always say, it is an honor to be on Black News 102, Sarnetta TV studios. I respect this audience, and I really, really am honored to be able to continue a conversation about issues that are important to our community. I want to say peace to Brother Michael Edwards. You're going to hear us be pointed and directive and challenge each other, but that's my brother. At the end of the day, there are people that I know I can work with, and I do know that I can work with Michael Edwards. We actually have things we disagree on, and we're going to challenge each other on, but it's going to be in respect and in love, because that is, like I said, my brother. Peace,
okay.
Family. It's good to speak to you.
Which one of you brothers want to go first, or do I have to flip a coin?
Flip a coin. Flip a coin.
Okay, so I'm going to get one of my moderators, Brother Savage Reese. Flip a coin, my brother. What do you got, Michael?
I got heads.
Michael got heads. My moderators are fair and honest, so don't even worry about that. We're not here to cheat nobody. Flip a coin, Savage Reese, and let us know what it is. Let us know what it is. Michael got heads, Jabari got tails, and we're going to keep it fair. So let him know. He's flipping the coin right now. He's going to let us know what it is. Oh, Monica Lamb in the building too. Yeah, this is going to be good. Michael have reached the big stage today. And then let me let y'all know, he's also going on again, I think this Friday with Garfield. So I think Garfield got him in the radar as well. All right, it is Tells. It is Tells. That means Jabari, do you want to go, or you want to pass the torch on to Mike?
I think I would like to go.
Okay, why you ain't just say that? We ain't even had to flip a coin, man. You funny, Jabari.
Well, you asked him.
I said if y'all want to flip a coin.
Oh, man, I want to go.
Okay, so thank you, my brother Reese. I appreciate you, Reese. And Jabari, you now have 8 minutes, brother. The clock will start when you can see the time on there. So I want everybody to watch the time. Yeah. You got the time, my brother. Go ahead.
Can I go ahead and first start out by saying peace to the mods, to Savage Reese, and to Monica Lamb?
Yes, I'm gonna start as soon as you start going in. Go ahead. Get all your shots.
I just want to say peace to them. I know it's not always an easy job to do this. So peace to y'all for being able to continue to assist our community with this dialogue. I really wanted to begin by trying to set the stage and describe what we're talking about here. Brother Michael Edwards and I regularly communicate.
Time starts.
But he posted some stuff on Facebook that I took issue with. In fact, it's the reason why he and myself and Garfield Reed will be talking with him. It's actually coming from the same Facebook conversation. It began with something that Michael has intimated or posted images about before. We've discussed it before. He started out by showing images of the Kemetic deity known as Geb, who many of you should know is a representation of the earth. And in this one particular image, Geb is bent over backwards in a circle in many ways, and his erect penninum, his phallus, is pointed towards his mouth. And so he's taking issue with it. One of the brothers in the chat with him was also taking issue with it, Brother James Cassell. Hopefully he'll call in at some point as well. And I wanted to make sure we understood the symbolism that we were dealing with. I also want to challenge Brother Michael Edwards on the hypocrisy in him dealing with this issue that is clearly symbolism, but being uncomfortable with things that are unambiguous and not symbolism in his own text. So I'm going to deal with Geb, but I also want to deal with the hypocrisy that I see here. Also, Brother Michael Edwards also made the claim that Kemet was the first nation to give us the model for black on black crime, which I think is a ridiculous comment, and I want to challenge him on that. I think, family, you're going to see, if you listen to what was described in our Facebook post, that Brother Michael Edwards is really uncomfortable when I challenged him on the actual reality on black crime. He said something here, I'm giving you the headline, that I think you're going to be surprised about. And he knows what I'm talking about because I challenged him on it when we were talking. Brother Michael Edwards actually might be a closet Camite. And I think when you hear what he said, you're going to realize the respect that he accords the Kemetic tradition with regard to his own tradition. And finally, because I challenged him and he was uncomfortable, he shifted back to something that brothers in the Hebrew Israelite community regularly shift to. Then he wanted to talk about the Kemetic tradition and gayness and homosexuality. And I want to be clear that we are going to deal with those issues here today, so that we're able to address everything, clear the air on everything, and really do justice to this dialogue that we are having here today. So, with the time left, why don't I, if I can, I'd like to get into the first issue a little bit. And I want to talk about...
Oh, hold on. You mean to tell me you wasn't started yet, brother?
Well, I mean, it's okay for you to take my time for that. I wanted to set the what we were discussing is what I wanted to do.
Oh, okay. So that's what you were supposed to do in the first round when I say introduce yourself. So go ahead. I'm going to start your time right now. You ready to start teaching now?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to start your time.
This discussion started with Brother Michael Edwards posting images of Geb. And for those of you who may possibly be unfamiliar with Kemetic spirituality, the Neferu, or the deities of Kemet, are personified aspects of the universe, personified energies that mold, shape, control the universe. And so this particular image of Geb is actually an image that we should understand is the earth. So I know that in the Western tradition, sometimes we say Mother Earth. In the Kemetic tradition, we said Father Earth. And then we would say Mother Heaven, because Geb's divine consort, his wife, was Nut, the Lady of the Heavens, the lady that is so powerful that she swallows the sun at night and gives birth to it in the morning. And so the image that Brother Michael Edwards has discomfort with and continually mentions is the one where he sees Geb turned backwards in a position that a human being could not be in, by the way. If you look at the position, it comes, for those of you who may be unfamiliar, on the Reyu, Pert, and Haruan Ger of a priestess known as Henutawi. The Reyu, Pert, and Haruan Ger have been misnomered the Book of the Dead. It comes from her version of that book. And it shows you an image of Geb. And I want to be so clear, that Geb is considered the deity who is created by himself. He creates himself. This is what the Kemetic people were referencing when you see this image. He is the self-created. That is so powerful to have a divine force being able to create himself. But I want you to understand that Geb is simply symbolism for the earth. And so, family, I remember having an interesting conversation with another Hebrew Israelite, Tazariak, who was questioning the same image, because I think many in the Hebrew Israelite community have issues with literalism and issues with the human body as well. And he was eating an apple at the time, and I said to him, brother, if you have a problem with the seed and the earth, then you better understand you have the earth seed in your mouth right now. He almost spit out his apple. He was so uncomfortable. But you need to understand that seed is how the earth puts forward, and Geb is the earth. If we were thinking that this was a human being, perhaps it would be uncomfortable. But this is certainly not a human being. The only people who would be confused by that are people who honestly are a bit infantile and have no familiarity with the symbolism of ancient African tradition. This is a really important point. I want you to understand that the way that the modern Christian tradition has been rendered, it has been rendered in a very literal form, a very literal form. And so that is why people are uncomfortable with penises. They're uncomfortable with naked bodies. I want to be clear that this comes from the Europeans. This is not an African approach. When you look at ancient African images, you will see deities who are nude. There was no discomfort with that. The Europeans were uncomfortable. The Tamu was uncomfortable with your nude self. And let's go further. Every deity in the Kemetic tradition, every male deity had a female consort, a wife. And together they created offspring, and thereby the rest of the world. I want to challenge our dear brother, Michael Edwards, with his discomfort with this. Because whenever I look at the Christian tradition, and I'll be fair with him and say the Hebrew tradition, I usually just see three dudes doing it. So we're talking about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, who are usually depicted as men. So if you have discomfort around sacred reproduction in the Kemetic tradition, you need to now tell me how your deities do it, being three males. You must understand that this discomfort is something we need to root out. If we are going to be powerful Africans once more, if we are going to move much further into our greatness, a greatness that we once actually visited upon the world, if we're going to move to the forefront of human civilization once more, we have to be comfortable in our Africanness. And that is something that I think I want to challenge my dear brother to do. If you want to be an RBG, you gotta get down with Africa. You can't then take European traditions, or at least a European aberration of an African tradition, and simply blockify it, and then pretend that you're doing something African. And so I need to be very clear about this reality. Now, before I move forward further, I want to say to you that I'm looking at some of the comments in the chat room, and I'm hoping that we'll get a chance to respond to some of them at some point, Sonetta, because one of the things I'm doing here is not just having a discussion debate with our dear brother Michael Edwards. I also want to be able to teach people from an understanding of ancient African tradition, because I want to be clear that most of what you know is what the European gave you. There's a reason why we were not allowed to speak our African tongue. There's a reason why if an African was caught reading, sometimes he would have his eyes put out by law. But then you must ask yourself, why is it that the European was comfortable with us reading the Bible? In fact, many Europeans even understood that some Africans were able to read. As long as we were simply reading the Bible, they were okay. You must understand, family, that the Bible that you have in your home is a European creation. And this is of critical importance. Be an African, be a revolutionary, and return to the source. With that, I want to say peace. I'm going to give up my last minute and let our dear brother respond.
All right, peace and Black Power family. That is the first round of Brother Jabari. Brother Edwards, Michael, it is on you, my brother. Let me restart the time. And you ready? Are you ready, Mike?
Absolutely.
Okay, time will start when you ready to begin. Let me know when you're ready to begin. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, I'm ready. Hit it.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, that was a beautiful song and dance, and that was exactly what I expected for us all to hear, and for a long time in our communities. With this conversation, we've all been hearing that same song. All around the world, same song. From California to New York, same song. For over 10 years. 10 years with the group of brothers that you all know as Kemetic. Now, I want to challenge the crowd, the audience, all of my dear brothers and sisters out there to think today. I don't want you to get enamored with what you've been taught or what you've acquired in your own way of thinking. But I want you to today, I want you to set all of that aside. And I want you to put what is called the clean glass next to the dirty glass. And I want you to pick up which glass is best for your community, your home, your family. Because when we're talking about these spiritual things of my community and of my brother Jabari's community, I suggest that they should all, at the end of the day, yield for us betterment, empowerment, a better social understanding, a better worldview, a better set of values. And so anything that we teach, we should be able to give the people and them use it as a real working model, whether it be metaphysical or literal. And on the flip side of that coin, whatever is the corpus of the teaching, we want you to today to be able to see its manifestation in the people. Think, use your mind. Now, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? We're going to tackle that idea. I want to suggest to you that it does make a sound. All of conscionable science says that if a tree falls and you're not there, doesn't matter if you're not there. There's other beings. The whole world keeps revolving, not with your worldview. With that said, the spirit of complacency is the root of that thought. Those that think there is no sound when the tree falls because they weren't there. I'm going to bring that home for you. Homosexuality. And I know there's probably a lot of homosexuals viewing the show. But know that your brother Michael loves you. And what I'm about to say to you is in love and in forever perpetuation of this RBG culture in our community. The spirit of complacency, when there is cancerous behavior, one more time, cancerous behavior growing not only at the macro in our government, but it grows in our homes, in our schools, in our think tanks, and our social settings. Now, again, clean glass next to the dirty glass. I want to start off by reading for you, the clean glass. Keep your mind on thought, not what you've been taught. The book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 22 in chapter 1. When you look at any of the zoo-type depictions of Netzarum or Netzaru or the Kemet gods, these deities or these androgynous nature principles, when you look at them, do you see yourself? Do you see anything that resembles you? Do you see anything that you can understand on any conscionable human level? You, one-to-one, you, thinking you, not the you that was taught at Dr. York's joint. The you that is thinking today, listen to this. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of the incorruptible Yah into the image made like to corruptible man, and birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things, and birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore Yahuwah also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Listen closely. Who changed the truth of Yah into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause, listen, ladies and gentlemen, Yah gave them unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into which is against nature. And likewise, also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men working that which is unseemly and receiving in themselves that recompense of error, which is meet. Stop. We're going to pick up later, but I wanted to stop there so that you can understand the duality here. We have maybe Jeb, a being that doesn't reflect humanity, but we have the book of Romans speaking about a condition of humanity, a condition that humanity wants to keep, Geb, versus it being the actual image of God itself, humanity, Adam, Jabari, Sarnetta, myself. But we changed the image of that God into four-footed beasts and corruptible things like Geb, like Pharaoh, not the principle, but the abomination, the perpetuation, the open hypocrisy, and the negligent teaching style that you should be honest with the people. When we get into this debate, I'm going to show you guys some things that may make you want to throw up about what Jabari wants to paint as so beautiful. It's so African. But I want to suggest to you, are you African walking around as a beast and a man? When has that ever been African? That's been a costume, but it's never been real life.
20 seconds.
For the Africans, 20 seconds, good. For the Africans that live today, that kind of existence won't cut it as relates to us wasting our time looking for something that we can glean from that. Not the perception, not the propagating. We want the truth in that, not the homosexuality, the pornography, and all of the things that you sell. And I'll yield the rest of the seconds. And I'm telling you, it's going to get hot in a minute.
All right. Second round. Brother Jabari, it's on you. I'll start the time when you're ready. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm ready. I really need to say I'm much of what Brother Michael just said is inscrutable. I'm not even exactly sure what he was referring to. I mean, let's just be very clear that he attempts to say that Geb is homosexual. Perhaps our dear brother needs start this debate with a dictionary. I'm not even sure why he did that. Because Geb actually has his wife, who is mute. Perhaps you weren't listening. I'm not sure why you're unclear about this. When we see Geb bent over in the manner that he is, the reference is that Geb is the self-created. That is what that means. That he is able to create himself. But to say it is homosexual, these brothers in our Hebrew Israelite community seem almost obsessed with homosexuality. I'm so confused by how he could possibly say that Geb, a deity, has anything to do with homosexuality. It is really, really, really bizarre. Now, I want to also be clear about something here. I said that I was going to say this earlier. One of the things that Michael said, I believe this is a direct quote from what he said. He said, anything we teach should be able to we should be able to give to the people as a working model. And I want to just highlight to you folks that Brother Michael is having trouble with something that is clearly symbolic. If you look at the image, you will see that a human being cannot make that motion. We are dealing with symbolism. And because our dear brother and the folks in his tradition, in the Christian tradition, yes, I did say the Christian tradition, because those people who follow Jesus Christ are called Christians. Those people are so uncomfortable with symbolism because they've been taught that everything they learn, everything they teach is literal. I'm not even going to go into that extensively here. If he'd like me to, I think that's not a road that he'd like to go down. But that's a real problem. So he takes issue with symbolism, but then on things that are not symbolic in his own text that he read from you, he takes no issue with it whatsoever. Let me just read you a little bit from the book of Deuteronomy. I want to be clear that Deuteronomy is usually considered the book of laws. Just listen to how Hebrews usually talk about Deuteronomy. In fact, I know some of the Hebrews say that they have more laws than anyone else. They include Deuteronomy, they include the Decalogue, they include all of those things. So let's listen to some of what we hear when it comes to us in Deuteronomy. And hopefully what you'll begin to recognize is the just basic hypocrisy here. That we have no issue whatsoever with making fun of symbolism, but when you deal with something that's very straightforward, they're fine with it. So we're going to read Deuteronomy 22, verses 13 to 21. If any man take a wife and go unto her and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, when I came to her, I found her not a maid. In other words, if you marry a woman that you find out is not a virgin, this is what he says will happen. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he hath given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, meaning a virgin. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. In other words, the parents have to show the cloth that they had intercourse on, and it should have blood on it. That's really what they're referring to. By the way, how in the world would the parents get this if this occurred in a house that they have, the man's house? I have no idea, but just follow this for a bit further. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him, and they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father, the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon the virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away in all his days. Now let's be clear. This says that if you are marrying a woman and you realize that this woman is not a virgin, it is fair for you to hate her. Then the mother and the father of this woman who is recently married need to have proof that she was a virgin. If they have proof, the man shall be chastised by the elders, and he will have to pay 100 shekels of silver to the father. Now let's read the end of this so you get really clear about the discrepancy here. What happens if the virgin, this wife, is not a virgin, and the parents cannot prove that she is? Let's continue with verses 20 and 21. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house. And the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she had wrought folly in Israel to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you. So let's be really clear. If you find that your wife is not a virgin, you can complain to the elder. And if her parents can't prove she was a virgin, it is right for you to take that woman to the doorway of her father's house, and the other men will kill her, will stone her to death, because she played a whore in her father's house. Now notice that if the man was wrong, then also what happens is he's chastised and he gives silver to the father. But if the woman cannot be proven a virgin, she shall be put to death because she is a whore. This is the kind of guidance that comes to us in the text, that they consider a book of laws. Brother Michael would like to play and to laugh and to make fun of something that is clearly symbolism. But he will not deal with something that is not symbolism, something that is backward, something that is misogynistic, something that is disturbing. Brothers, how many of you have married women that were virgins? Well, I guess if you found that they were not virgins, they should be murdered. By the way, it doesn't say anything about the man being a virgin, because the man can do whatever he wants. This is the epitome of misogyny. Misogyny that can actually lead to the death of a woman. How in the world can this brother continue to make fun of images that he does not understand and walk away from this? This is the reason why, beloved, you must question that book that we know of as the Bible. You must question those people that are followers, uncritical followers, people who will not say that some of this needs to be changed, that some of this is anti-African, that some of this is misogynistic. This is where we need to challenge this brother.
Time.
And I hope that he has a very clear answer.
All right, Brother Michael Edwards. Round 2. Round 3, right? This is 3.
It's 2 for him.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Brother Mike. Right. 2 for you, Mike. Let's go. Clock will start when you're ready. Mike, you there? Man, don't tell me you ain't there, Mike. Man, don't tell me your phone is not even. Mike.
Is he struggling with the law?
I don't know, man. What the hell? Because if his phone is not even on, that's I want y'all to know that's why we're doing it on the phone, because the brother don't have his laptop or nothing like that, because both of the Jabari he had slides and everything ready. So we're only doing it on the phone because Mike is not ready for that, prepared for that.
Yep.
All right, Mike, you there now? Hello?
I don't know if I'm on mute.
Did you hear everything that Jabari said? Mike?
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you now. You're going in and out, brother.
I'm sorry, brother. I had it on mute. So if I coughed or something,
okay,
I didn't interrupt.
Did you hear everything Jabari said, brother?
Absolutely, every word.
All right,
every
your
word.
time starts when you're ready. Your time starts.
Be polite.
Right, your time starts when you're ready. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you. All right. Now, again, everybody, I want to call you back to yourselves. Call you back from emotion. Call you back from what you think, what you've been taught. I want to call you to humanity. Call you to your righteous mind. And call you to remembrance of what the brother just said concerning this homosexuality that I say is not only embedded in their culture, not only spoken about in the Bible, to a great degree, even the mutations of the perversions and the homosexuality, but not just the texts or the characters, but the people themselves. I said again, if you have a system, it ought to create some demonstrable change in your life. if you have a system of beliefs, it ought to cause demonstrable change in your life, earth-shaking change in your life. Now, I want to read for you. Let's take a break from Romans. And the significance of Romans, me reading Romans, is because the Romans and the Greeks had a strange infatuation with ancient Kenan and was conquered by the Romans and the Greeks. So that book is very much not just to the people that call themselves Israelites and the lost Israelites and the such, but it is directly relevant today and speaking to that culture which is so prevalent in the scriptures. Who has changed the image of God into a lie? When we look at the anatomical man, that's not a lie. But when I look at a depiction of a beast claiming to be a cohabitable matter in nature, it's almost unfathomable and unheard of to try to say what Geb is, other than saying what you see, what you hear, what you read. I'm a priest in the Israelite culture, and I call myself a man of God. That's really just a servant. We have a duty. That duty is to make sure what we teach becomes demonstrably present in your life. It causes that earth-shaking change. Here's what our books say once again. That clean glass next to the dirty glass. Isaiah, Yeshayahu, chapter 58, verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a shofar, and show my people their transgression, and even unto the house of Jacob their sins. The operative word there is the job of the priest, job of the man of God, the job of the leader in the community, the job of the sane person among the sick, to show the sick that they need change and need a physician. But
time out. I stopped your clock. To my moderators, it's all right if the people disagree. Let them disagree, long as they don't be disrespectful. But they can disagree strong. They can disagree hard, as long as they ain't using words like the F word and all these other stuff that'll get us flagged. You know what I'm saying? But they can disagree. Let them disagree strong. You ain't got to block everybody that disagrees. So thank y'all. Appreciate that. Go ahead, Mike. I'm going to start your time. It's going to finish off. Go ahead.
And this disagreement is in love, and it's for a demonstrable change in our people, not to kill each other and not to disrespect each other. But because I love Jabari and I love and I respect him as a priest, this is what he gets from me.
Go ahead. I'm going to start your time.
Okay, thank you, my brother. Verse 28 in the book of Romans says, and even they did not like to retain Yah in their knowledge, Yahuwah gave them over to a reprobate mind. That word reprobate is a mind of your own, a mind that, just as Aleister Crowley put forth, do as thou wilt. Never mind that even the scripture says that sin is enjoyable for a season, but at the end thereof are death and the ways of death. Now, again, I want to challenge you to think. The papyrus of Hinutawi, and there's a pretty funny word that I make so I can remember it. I call it Hinutaway. Hinutaway. That's how you spell it. Henuttaway. Hinutaway. And I want to tell you that's exactly what you're seeing on that papyrus. Hinutaway. Right? Now, I want to read something to you that is demonstrably different. I want to drill that word in y'all's head because it's important. This brother said Geb has a wife. But he also said Geb is an androgynous nature principle. he said that Michael doesn't get it. But he also says, again, Geb has a wife. Are y'all thinking yet? When we have double-minded teachers and manipulation artists to avoid telling you the truth, watch this. This is a build-up. I'm going to tell you the easy answer to Jabari's Bible question about Deuteronomy. This is how a priest is supposed to rock. What the Bible says, I agree with. I agree with, for that implied audience, that was the right thing to do to start a nation. I'm going to say it one more time. This is how priests should answer from his own documents. But we want to see your answer to the document that I'm going to bring. I said, I agree 110% with the Bible says in Deuteronomy. For that implied audience of the day living in Canaan, coming out of the nation, being in exile, that's right. I'll explain how it may be right, but I don't shy away from it. Now, watch this. We're going to make you hold true to your documents. Not only is Geb pictured on the papyrus of Hinatawi in a position that his brother said humans can't get in, but if you look at the word autofellatio, AUTOFCLATIO, look it up and hit images, and I will assure you, you'll see Tom Who after Tom Who that's trying to debunk Jabari's theory that humans can't get into that position. Amen. Now, he said he has a wife, Geb. But I want to read something to you about Geb's propensity to act as if he doesn't have a wife and act as if he's not just an androgynous nature principle.
45 seconds.
Spell 700, coffin text. He will grant to me his appearings in glory, and will put down for me the plant which is between his lips. His phallus is between the buttocks of his son and heir. Now, that's the coffin text. That's a book that's analogous only to you. I want to see you say that that's right. For the people then, for Geb, you said it's a husband and an androgynous nature principle. Explore this and resolve this for us. That you've tied yourself in knots already, and we're just getting started.
All right, time is up, Mike. Brother Jabari. Third round.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Your time will begin when you're ready.
Wonderful. I need for you to hear, family, that in the way that I think, let me assume that Brother Michael actually did not hear me correctly. I want to start there without actually saying anything negative about him. But I do need to hear.
Time stop.
Hello? Go ahead.
You did. Everybody here.
Oh, I thought you said something.
Time is starting. Go.
Okay. I want you to be clear that this is a situation where our brother is misrepresenting something I said so much, so harshly, that he actually just said something I never said. He continually says that I said that Geb is an androgynous netter principle. I did not say that. First of all, you must understand that Geb is the earth. I want you to hear that first of all. Second of all, I never said that Geb was androgynous. Androgynous meaning both male and female. I never said that. And then he continues to try to say, in one of the most bizarre renditions I can possibly imagine, that Geb is showing us homosexuality. What is he refusing? What is he referring to? What is he referring to? Certainly, that is not what is happening here. Geb has a wife. And I could even tell you who Geb and Newt's children are if you'd like to learn a bit more. I think perhaps I should even quote something that one of my great teachers said. My great teacher, Dr. John Henry Clark. He said, "To my equals I debate, to all others I teach." It seems like our dear brother is unfamiliar with the text, enough that he does not even understand what he is saying. He also mentioned Aleister Crowley. I am not a follower of Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley is a Tomhu, a European that attempted to retell some of the Kemetic texts. Aleister Crowley has nothing to do with the Kemetic tradition that exists today at all, whatsoever. And so I need you to hear that. Now, perhaps the most important part of this is that Michael Edwards said that he agrees with the murdering of women who are married who are not virgins. Did you hear him say that? I am not misrepresenting what our dear brother said. He said this makes sense when you're creating a nation. That it is okay to murder a woman who is not a virgin when you marry her. By the way, the text says nothing about what a man should be. And let's be very clear, for those of you who are a little unfamiliar with the Bible, you please understand that the Deuteronomy is supposed to be the word of Moses, their lawgiver. This is what the King James Bible says in Deuteronomy 1:1. It says, let me read the King James Version. "These be the words which Moses spake to all of Israel on the side Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain over the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban and Hazeroth, and Dizahab." So these are supposed to be the words of one of the most venerated people in his tradition, his lawgiver. I think that you need to recognize that if this is the position that our dear brother takes, this position is not good for our people. Let me say that again. This position, which he has agreed to, is not good for our people. I want to say that if you are a Christian and this is what you believe, we should almost put you on timeout from the Black community. You know that today most Black women don't get married till the age of 40? Did you know that? How many Black women do you believe are virgins when they are married? What is he saying? Are you saying that he thinks it's okay for them to be murdered? I cannot believe that he would say that. This is a problem. Now, let me address what he was saying when he misread spell 700 of the coffin text. That reference is the reference to a character that is being chastised. It's a reference to the deity that some of you know of as Setesh. It's a reference to a vile act that occurred. It is not something that is supposed to be emulated. By the way, they are telling you that it is good to murder women who are not virgins. They are telling you that this is something that you must do. So I don't even know how he thinks that he can pass go here. To some degree, our community needs to say, you need to be on a moral timeout. Because if you believe that this is acceptable, shame on you, brother. Shame on you. Now, I want to be clear that when our dear brother was losing this conversation on Facebook, he shifted to Kemet being the nation that created black on black crime. He actually says in his video, and I wish I could show you some slides there, family. I really wish I could show you some slides because I'd actually show you what he says. The title of the video is The Ancient Egyptians First to Commit Black on Black Crime. And he wants to start with that deity who is that historical person who created the Kemetic community, who created ancient Kemet, the first king by the name of Narmer. On the palette of Narmer, we see that Narmer moves northward and conquers the people on the coast. And that's how he creates the land which is often known as the Two Lands. And he wants to say, how could Narmer be murdering people? Clearly, this is black on black crime. Well, let me say two things very quickly. First of all people in all continents at all times have had disagreements and war. So if he wants to actually say that I should have a problem with it, I'm not going to justify people being murdered. I would never do that. But I will say to you that war is war, and it happened. It's interesting to me that he wanted to bring that up, particularly because, let's go back to Deuteronomy, the book that comes from Moses, according to him. Deuteronomy 20, verses 16 to 18 say, but of the cities of these people which the Lord thy God doth give thee for an inheritance, thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth, but thou shalt utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee. So he wants to actually slander the history of Kemet for a war that took place where we see combatants killed. We see an army that is defeated. Yet in his own text, in his Old Testament, spoken supposedly from the mouth of Moses, we actually see that God told them not to kill soldiers, but to leave nothing alive that breatheth. That means they were killing women and children. This is genocide. Here is the hypocrisy of our dear brother. But as he knew he was losing that battle, he wanted to actually say something else, and I stopped him and said, if you believe that the travails of Namur are the first incident of black on black crime, you're saying one of two things, dear brother.
5 seconds.
You are saying, listen to this, you are saying that either Cain and Abel were not African, or you are saying that the story of Cain and Abel happened after the Kemetic story. Please understand that our dear brother might be a closet Camite and not even know it.
All right, Michael Edwards, third round. And right after this round right here, we're going to switch the topic over to another topic. And I think that's the topic about, some of the deities. Do you really believe that these deities existed? Abraham, Moses, or these? You're going to have the opportunity to prove and show to our people that these deities actually existed. Brother Michael, you got the floor, brother.
Okay, how you doing? And that was a nice twist to the debate. So,
all right,
and I welcome that. Okay, ready?
I'm gonna be ready as soon as you start. I'm gonna let you go in.
Okay,
go ahead,
I'm sorry.
and then I'm gonna start the clock as you talking.
All right, here we go. You can hit it now. Our brother Jabari. One more time. What you teach, what you believe, should have potential and should create a demonstrable change in your people. What I read for you out of the coffin text, and trust me, we're going to read it again. And we might read it again after that and again, so that we can understand the depth of the depraved mind that wants you to accept this at face value. Him telling you that the ancient coffin text, its translations and transliterations mean nothing. Don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe your lying ears. And especially, remember, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there, Jabari says, don't even worry about it. It didn't make a sound. The spirit of complacency. We read some more coffin text. I want to give you an example of what I mean about demonstrable change and about the job of a priest and about what these things, if they're not taught correctly, and again, as a priest, like Isaiah 58 says, that you ought to show the people their sin so that there might be a change in the people. Cry loud, spare not. Tell your friends. Tell your community, those that you grew up in the midst of. Don't be ashamed to tell them first, and then tell us. The golden beetle, I know Jabari is cringing right now. He's probably sweating a little bit and thanking Geb that we're on the phone so y'all can see him sweating. But the golden beetle, this brother name is King Ra Sumaba. He is the founder of what's said to be the first gay Kemetic LGBTQ temple or shrine in America. Now, clean glass next to the dirty glass. When he asked me about Deuteronomy, I neither denied it and neither did I say it's right for you today. That particular scripture, I said, was written to an implied audience under the supposition that they are in exile. They are trying to create a nation. And when you create a nation, there are many things that happen outside of eating cotton candy. You understand. Generals understand that. Leaders understand that. Soldiers that walk the battlefields of death, but they fight for the lives of their children and murder many. They understand that. There are many things that are very egregious that happen when you are founding a nation. But when you have a nation that is supposedly the greatest of all times, the GOAT of nations, literally the GOAT, why is it that it produces in our people today, again, not only the spirit of complacency, but a spirit of acceptance of a way that is so much not like man, not like African man, not like crime man, not like man. Homosexuality. Let's make no mistake about it. It is a cancer. Homosexuality is a way that ensures that our people will not succeed as far as being a number greater than the oppressor. They're the only community in the world and in the galaxy that doesn't produce after its own kind, but it produces after proselytization. They're not making babies, but they want to get your babies and teach your babies. But what do they want to teach your babies? What is Rasumba teaching your babies? He said, Brother Jabari, H-A-P-I, Happy is a, and he's teaching that. He's proselytizing with that and creating converts, and has a shrine and is a priest.
Mike, I'm gonna stop your time for a minute. I need you to go back over that again because I missed it. You said Jabari is teaching that. Go over that again. Go ahead, brother. I'm gonna start your time when you start.
Say it again.
I missed it. You said Jabari is teaching that. I wanted to be clear. You said he's teaching that. What you mean he's teaching? Go ahead.
Okay. I want you to be patient because when I say to you, I'm going to read it for you. And we're going to show you what Jabari teaches, the Kemetic community.
Go ahead, brother.
The coffin text. Let's read some more. Let's read. I want to read for you. Let's see. We just read spell 600. Let's read 640. I have made the knot firm against the inner ones, my feet on that day, cutting off the trees. I'm sorry. That's not the one I want to read for you because that's actually really the one that I had talked about before. Here's what I want to give you. Let's read that one before. That's what I want to get back to. Coffin text, spell 700, which is between his lips. His phallus is between the buttocks of his son and heir. Now, this is not metaphysical. There's no way that you can metaphysical away pedophilia and homosexuality. This is, what is it called? Pederasty. in spell 700. I'll read it again for you. His phallus is between the buttocks of his son and heir. Now, you're talking to us about Geb being a father, but what does Geb do to his children? Well, we see what he does to himself on the papyrus of Hinutawi. And you said it doesn't mean that. And I go to the coffin text and we find Geb in a mad dash for more defamation of your mind, your spirit, and those that believe this craziness. This is the coffin text. Geb is clean seed, it says. But why are we talking about how clean his seed is if we're talking about clearly homosexual acts, and here in 700, a pedophilic act in book coffin text? Now, let's talk about what this breeds. A community that believes this. Poor people like Ani of the papyrus of Ani. The man gave all of his earnings for this document that has inside of it on plate 7 the same thing. Pornography.
10 seconds.
He is Ray. He is the praise of Ray. He is the soul of Ray, with he whom he himself copulated. Autofellatio. The soul of Ray, Osiris. We have Osiris doing this. We have Geb doing this. In text. Can I give a grace period of 30 seconds, please?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. And we have Geb and Osiris doing these things in text. We have a man named Ani that went to his grave believing that these things would get him through the afterworld or the underworld or whatever you want to call it. We can get into all of that too, but what does it breed? What does it breed? King Ra Sumba, the first gay Kemetic priest. I wish I had a few more, but go ahead. Let's continue. Go ahead.
All right, let's give a round of applause for these 3 rounds right here on both sides. Very powerful information from both of these brothers. So now we're going to switch the topic. Or Jabari, do you want to go over something else or no? Or you want to leave it like that? Y'all want to take another round in this, or you want to just move to the next one? Because I know you don't want to deal with this all night. This can't be the whole subject.
I honestly believe that I want to respond to what he said because I think that there's so much misunderstanding.
Okay, so in this one, I'll give you a 5-minute.
Like to talk about the
hold on, y'all. I will give you a 5-minute response, and then I will have to give Michael Edwards a 5-minute response after that.
Fine.
All right, 5 minutes, not 8 minutes. You got 5 minutes. Go ahead, go.
Okay. And perhaps we'll even have a moment when we can go back and forth.
Yes, y'all going to have that. And I'm going to open up the phone lines as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to be clear that logically, if Brother Michael Edwards finds one dude online that says that he's following the Kemetic tradition and he's a gay person, and that he's misrepresenting, and I will clearly say he is misrepresenting Kemetic text. Not Brother Edwards, although he is doing it as well. But this dude that he found online, Ross Semabah, he's misrepresenting Kemetic text. His information has been sent to me before. But I want to be clear that the very fact that Michael Edwards can find one person online speaks to the reality that is not what the Kemetic tradition is. How in the world could you find one crazy person online? By the way, I don't know if you realize this, but anyone can put up a page on Facebook. Anyone can put up a page on YouTube. Anyone can put up a page on the internet. If you look at the guy's website, you can see that at most there are 3 people with him in any picture. And there's 83 people. This guy is on his own, saying something that is absolutely ridiculous and inappropriate. But I want you to be clear, I don't chase everyone who says things that are foolish. I have too much work to do in my own community, with my own shrine, and in teaching our people to chase everyone that says anything. You have to actually have a following or be doing some damage to our people in terms of the numbers of people that you are misleading in order for me to follow that. So the fact that he can find one person, by the way, I'm going to tell you how much our brother is obsessed with this dude. He actually, in the conversation we had on Facebook, he tried to say this guy, Rasta Mabah, has a larger shrine than mine. I said, Brother Edwards, how do you know that? Are you going to his gay shrine? How do you know that? He says, well, you know, gay people always have more people. Brother Edwards, Michael, you have to recognize that creating a boogeyman out of gay people is ridiculous, inappropriate, and misleading for our people. Why would you assume anything about what he's doing? That's ridiculous. It's something that you should be embarrassed about. I'm telling you, as someone who has been in the Kemetic tradition for nearly 30 years, who is a Kemetic high priest, who has actually been involved in several shrines, that person that you are referencing has no representation in the Kemetic community that I have actually been working in and teaching in for at least the last 15 to 20 years. Let's say I've been teaching that long. There's no one that's following him. The only people that mention him are Israelites. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And he continues to try to mislead us to make us think that passage is about Geb. And it is not. It is a reference to Set. That is what we're talking about. And he also wants to tell you that Asar is also doing homosexual. Brother, listen, you have to understand that we are referencing individuals that are self-created. You know how powerful it is to absolutely create yourself from matter? Now, I know that you don't understand this, and that's because your tradition and your reading of this is juvenile. It's juvenile. Why don't you sit at the foot of a teacher and learn what the deeper meaning is? That's what you need to do, rather than playing ill and speaking ill of your African tradition. You don't even recognize that what you're doing is in the service of the European, in the service of the Tombu. Let me say this to you, family. Brother Jabari will not spend all of his time attacking gay people. Gay people are not pointing their guns at black men and murdering them in the streets. Gay people are not raping black women. Gay people are not redlining my neighborhood so we can't even afford the houses that we live in. Gay people are not preventing us from building our own businesses. This is a red herring. I want gay people to be who they are. The last thing I want to do is try to change them. I don't want them to marry my sister and then have inappropriate, ridiculous relationships because they're not being who they are. Be who you are. And I'm going to tell you, when 3 heterosexual men spend their time talking about gay people, something's wrong. This does not affect our community.
Time. Peace. Brother Mike, you got 5 minutes, brother. Go ahead.
Well, you heard it. Be who you are.
Mike, crazy. Go ahead, Mike.
Be who you are, and that is a sermon in itself. I said, Aleister Crowley quoted the words, "Do as thou wilt." And this brother just said, I don't teach Aleister Crowley. I don't follow that ideology. I don't believe in that. But he just said the words to all of you all. Do as thou wilt. Now, I want to tell you that this brother gets animated and almost slightly emotional over what he says doesn't exist. I'm only talking about a depiction, but we didn't hear you break down the depiction. We heard you deal with the multiple times in multiple places and multiple passages and multiple books where this degradation is a mainstay in the culture. And I said the coffin text is not a cheap book. That's your book. My Papers of Ani, me and Polite got the same one. It wasn't cheap. I got it when it first came out, the big copy. These things meant something to the people that used them. It didn't just mean what you say it means. I said, Ani believed this. He paid for this comprehensive document called the Going Forth by Day. He believed that when he was going to get mouth in the afterlife, he believed that was going to happen and he was going to be able to speak in the afterlife. When it talks about him having a ba and a ka in this book, these are not metaphysical only principles. We all literally have a ba and a ka. When you read the introductory hymn to Osiris, it deals with family. It deals with descendants. It deals with the soul and the spirit, not nature principles alone, but something that is analogous to man. That's why I said to you again before, I want y'all to think. If it doesn't mirror you, it isn't becoming of you. Again, the brother said King Rasumba is, he just threw the brother under the bus. But you didn't call King Rasumba your descendant. You didn't say that, hey, I love this guy enough because he's my brother. He's my sick brother, but I need to go and teach him. Isaiah 58, cry loud, show him his sin. As a priest, even one to another, that we ought to confess our faults, but even open rebuke. That's your job, Jabari. If you're a priest and he's a priest, and everything you guys got mirror each other, both of you guys use the Ankh. That's a sacred symbol. If you let him defile it without you rebuking it, but you're in the Bible. If you let him tell people that Hapi is a gay spirit, but you're in the Bible. If we have pedophilia and anal sex and rape in the coffin text, but you're in the Bible. If we have autofellatio in the coffin text and on the Papers of Henutawi and in the Papers of Ani, but you're in the Bible, I want to suggest to you the reason I started off this thing is the reason why the whole conversation is. It's not just about this homosexuality that your culture breeds, but it's about the spirit of complacency and the spirit of do what you want or do as thou wilt. And its negative effects on our people. Now, I'm going to close my section here with this statement, and I want you all to understand me clearly. Please give me the grace time to finish it, and it won't be long. I won't go over. Negative birth rate. Me and Brother Jabari also talked about that as relates to black people and relates to homosexuality. My dear brother Jabari on Facebook told me that I didn't know what I was talking about. But negative birth rate, my brothers and sisters, has to do with a macro and a micro understanding as relates to sociology. The basis and the most prime way to understand it is this way.
25 seconds.
As relates to the community. More people are being born. More people are dying that are being born. More people are dying that are being born. It also has to do with people that leave countries and don't, participate in the countries anymore. The country loses a number, and that person does not replace itself with a live birth. Again, homosexuality is negative birth rate extreme in our community. It's an example of how negative birth rate takes its toll and takes its root in a people. We need to speak to that and doctor on it because we care about King Rasumba. But we are ashamed of him. And we want to just let him exist.
All right. We're going to switch over to another topic, and that is first, let me ask you a question, my brother Mike. Mike, I see you are very hard on Kemet when it comes to dealing with homosexuality. Let me ask you, brother, is there homosexuality in the Bible, brother?
Absolutely, without a doubt, unequivocally, there's homosexuality all through the Bible. And the Bible actually rebukes it every single time. And it pronounces a curse on it physically and spiritually. And I read, when I opened up, I read the first chapter of Romans. I started at verse 22.
So let me ask you. So you're saying yes. So you saying that the Bible hold on, no, you already answered the question. You answered it already.
No, brother. I'm saying yes, and I haven't said yes.
Go ahead. All right, go ahead, brother.
I'm not gonna get long-winded on you, brother. I promise.
Go ahead.
I started off reading Romans, the first chapter, the 22nd verse, all the way to the end of it, and I challenge everybody else to read it because it speaks about what the Bible says and what I believe about homosexuality.
Right. So the Bible is the word of God, right? And homosexuality is in the Bible. Is that the word of God or what?
The Bible is inspired writings, inspired by the Spirit of God, written by men. That's what the Bible actually is.
So the Bible was inspired by God, who put the spirit of homosexuality in man's thought to write the Bible. Is that what you're saying?
No, absolutely not.
You said the Bible was in
itself.
You just said that the Bible. Hold on, I'm gonna get to it. You said the Bible was inspired by man to write the Bible.
No, that's not.
Say it. What you say? You tell me. Tell me. You tell me.
I said the Bible is an inspired writing. Men wrote it.
Right.
But inspired by what, Sarnetta?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
By the Spirit of God. That's called the Ruach Kodesh.
Right. Now, see, you just said exactly what I just said. The Bible was inspired by man, by God, to write the Bible. Check. The Bible was inspired.
No, you still
by God.
Wrong, though, bro.
Oh man. Okay, we're gonna move forward. Don't worry about it. We're gonna move forward. It's all right. It's all right, Mike. I know it gets heated. Now, brother Jabari, I'm gonna ask Jabari a tough question too. Hey, brother Jabari, you hear me?
Go ahead.
Because this comes up all the time, and we're gonna finish this off with the homosexual question and move on. This comes up all the time. I'm surprised Mike didn't bring it up. About the Hebrews will always talk about, I think it's Geb with the header letters or beat off on the header letters or some crazy stuff like that. I don't recall the whole thing. Are you familiar with that, brother?
After you speak, please, too.
Hello?
Yes, Mike. No. Go ahead, Jabari.
Wait a minute. I didn't get to answer your question.
Right.
I'm asking
you a question. Go ahead, brother. Can you explain that in detail and clear?
Let me first say to you that you are incorrect about who is involved in that particular story. This is a story, once again, about Seth, who is a symbol of chaos and destruction.
Okay.
And Seth seeks to actually do something quite inappropriate to the son of his brother. That is the same reference that Brother Michael was reading and does not understand.
Oh, okay.
And so you have to understand that Seth is a being that must be conquered. And he is conquered by Heru. So because our friend Michael Edwards doesn't understand it, he wants to make it sound like this is the behavior that is advocated by the Kemetic text. It is not.
Okay.
And by the way, he likes to say that Jeb and Asar are doing something homosexual. They are self-created. It is said often that they're putting their semen in their hands. They create themselves. That's all it refers to. It has nothing to do with homosexuality.
Okay.
Continually see homosexuality.
Thank you. Now, Brother Michael, let's move forward. I'm gonna give y'all 2 rounds apiece on this one because it's getting late. No, because then Jabari. No. We dealt with the homo stuff, brother. We good on that. We gonna be going back and forth. I know what I'm talking about.
No, it's not.
Brother, we moving forward, brother. We are moving forward because we going back and forth on that. I want you to prove to the people.
There was a lot I wanted to respond to you with as well, but I'm trying to be patient.
Right, because I know Jabari want to respond to it, and I'm not going to let them. So,
of course I do.
So, Mike, I would like for you to take the opportunity. You got 8 minutes to prove to us that these characters in the Bible were real people, that they actually walked the face of the earth. They existed. Talking about Abraham, Moses, you name it. These powerful people, Jesus. 3. Let's just deal with the 3. Abraham, Moses, or you want to deal with the fathers. Isaac, Jacob, and what? Moses? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob?
We just deal with the whole Bible.
Okay, deal with
the Israelite culture.
Deal with the realness of these people that actually existed in the Bible. You got 8 minutes, brother. I know it's going to take more than that. That's why we're going to go back and forth. You got the floor, brother. Go ahead.
All right. Well, as relates to what you asked, I'm going to give it to you. When you're dealing with trying to find out if anybody ever lived in the scriptures, Brother Walter Williams told us who, what, when, where, how, and why, right? Well, that's actually how you validate people, places, and times. So we don't have to actually find out for you Jesus and Abraham and Moses and Enoch and Paul and a trillion people that's in the Bible's genealogy. All I need to do is actually place one in world history, just one, or even one community of them. And the onus would be on you to debunk the whole of the matter. I'm going to say that principle one more time so you can get it, because it's a very strong principle in anthropology, cultural anthropology, and in archaeology. I don't have to find a whole race of Homo sapiens sapiens or Cro-Magnons. All I need to find is one or two. And it denotes that there was more than one. Come on in, you come in. So let's find one in history, in conscionable world history. I'm going to do the one that we did with Dr. Williams. And I'm going to see if Jabari can take a shot and knock it over the fence and debunk me.
Who is this man that you're proving right now? I'm going to prove a community right now. Who is this community, brother? Because let me make it clear. Hold on. I stopped the time. Don't worry about it. Right, but no. I asked you a specific question, and Mike. Hold on, Mike. Let me finish, brother. You got to respect the host.
How are you gonna do that,
brother? You got to, because I want to make it clear.
I love you, but
Mike, I love you too, but I want to make it clear. I don't want you to give me anybody. I'm talking about powerful people like, brother, can I talk? You got Mike. I want you to calm down and respect the host, brother. I'm the moderator here, so I'm asking you. I don't want anybody in the Bible. That's why I gave you specific names: Moses, Abraham, or Jesus. I don't give a damn about the people that's out there. I want Moses, Abraham, or Jesus. Powerful people, not anybody. I want them people. The man that had direct contact with God, that spoke with God, that wrote with God. You know, that's the people I want you to prove, not just anybody, brother. I want them people. Go ahead. You got the floor, Mike. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. Now I got my time back. I got my 8 minutes back. And yes. I'm fancy. But if I want to answer your question, respect the guest. Let me speak without doing what you asked.
All right, there you go. I'm going to start your time all over. Go ahead. You got it now. You got it.
Hold on. I don't want you to think I'm disrespecting you.
Brother, it's all right, brother. Just go. You know, I got strong. Go ahead, brother. You got
if you ask for more than one person in 8 minutes, I told you I'm going to give you a community. That's what I told you. You got to be man enough to just listen to me.
All right, go ahead.
Give you what you want. I promise you.
Go ahead.
I'm a real scholar, brother. Now, we're going to give you again what I gave Dr. Williams, but we didn't peruse it at the end. I gave it at the end, and I know you should remember. The Judean people are the same portion of Israel that Christ came from. This is one of the men that you asked for, Christ. But to prove Christ, I can't just come and tell you, hey, look, here's Jesus' footprints. Because Christ should have a mother and a father and a grandmother and a grandfather and a lineage. That's why I'm telling you, you got to sit back, grab your popsicle, and chill out while you listen to the story and see the salvation of the Lord. And accept what you hear. In conscionable world history, if I prove the community that the man came from, I am literally proving his grandmother, grandfather, and even the governmental socio-political structure. Now, we're going to take you to Josephus. Josephus. On the front of Josephus's document, we gave this one even to Shaka Amos, and he agreed. That coin on the front of it, it says Ayudea Kata, or the capture of the Judean people. That coin says something again about the grandmother, the grandfather, the progenitors, and even the people that came after Christ, that they were captured. They were captured. One more time, Brother Sarnetta. They were captured by a ruling government, a world power, the same ruling power that conquered Egypt, the same ruling power, the Romans, and that same Greco-Roman system that conquered Egypt. Now, again, if I've proved to you his grandmother, grandfather, in a numerous fashion, in the sense that I've proved to you even the lower section of the community called Judah, not Israel, but Yehuda, the people, the place, the time, I've given you all of that and given you one coin. When I give you that coin, I give you the who, what, when, where, why, and more than you asked for, because I'm validating before the coin's date and after the coin's date. If they're stamped into world history, Sarnetta, you can never from this day forth say that they didn't exist. Christ, Abraham, everybody you named, and everybody that I have hard archaeology and willing to cough up right now for you, if you ask me, everybody belongs to this subset, this community. This community, brother, Judeans. Now, is that not hard proof the way Dr. Williams taught me to do it? Who, what, when, where, why? And don't just walk in telling me, read the Bible, but give me real proof, which is cultural anthropology, archaeology, genealogy, sociology, and government. That's your answer. I know that one is monstrous too. I know you want to do it now.
Nah, I want him to finish all his time. He still got 4 minutes to go. I want Mike to go with his all his time.
How many much more I got?
You got 4 minutes, brother. You still got 4 minutes.
4 more minutes?
Yes.
Beautiful. Now, I want to morph something, right? Because I wanted to do something before and I couldn't, but I'm going to morph it into this answer. Being that I just proved for you something very, very significant. Something very significant. One more time, very significant. Proving that you said mythos, but I said history. We have documented history. When we look back at your culture again, all that we just read in the previous part of the debate, you said wasn't history. You said it's science through the lens of metaphysics and other stuff, but we read it. Now, here's why I'm saying that. In our scriptures, the Judean people, these same people that I proved just now that existed, they gave offerings to God, this God that I can also prove too. But so did the Egyptian people. They gave offerings, sometimes of lettuce. And I want to say to you, how does a human give lettuce to a fake God, but that same lettuce appears in the text that Set and Horus are now fighting and ejaculating on lettuce that is not real? But how did they get the lettuce? They got the lettuce from the people giving the offerings of lettuce. Where does the idea come from? I've heard people make the supposition that we created God by our own thoughts. But if you're really intelligent, you understand what I just said to you. Seth and Horus can't have lettuce because Jabari said they're not real. But we have people giving offerings of lettuce to these gods. And it ends up in the real text that these homosexual acts are happening. Now, when I ask you for the who, what, when, where, and why in which that happened, you've got to tell me what I want to ask you right now. Can I ask the question, or are you going to ask it, Sonetta?
No questions yet.
Want to hear the
no questions yet. We're going to open up the phone line. We're going to open up the line. Don't worry about it. We're going to be able to get it in.
Okay. But I know the people would like to ask it because the question is so heavy right now in everybody's mind. Jabari said they're not real, but Michael just pointed out real text, real places, real times, real people. In his system, he didn't deny his system one time. But Jabari gave us a bunch of puff smoke about things that we have literal examples of in the text, in pictures, and in real life with the King Ra Sumba, or this brother here, that obviously nobody cares about in Kemet. Somebody's supposed to be reaching out to that brother to tell him, man, listen, you're doing this wrong. It's not about homosexuality. Let me teach you who Happy is without the pictures. Let me teach you with the spirituality. Let me give you the who, what, when, where, and why of Happy. And let me let you know, he's not real. He ain't a gay spirit. He's a principle alone. And what the principle is. See, that's the same standard of righteousness and scholarship that we require from y'all. Y'all require it from us. We give it. We want you to give the same. I just proved the Judean people in less than 8 minutes. I want this brother to prove to me, how did Horus and Seth get lettuce, and who gave them the lettuce? Was it the redactors that wrote the story, or was it the people that gave the offering? And is this real or fake? I know that's a lot. I'll yield the rest of my time.
All right, brother Jabari, I need you to prove that, like what I asked Michael Edwards. I asked Michael a question.
The same thing, no?
What you mean?
You said this was a new round, so I wanted to respond to the same question you asked him.
That's what I'm asking you right now. Same thing.
I gotcha.
Yeah, brother. Oh, so I don't need to ask the question. You got the time, brother Jabari. It's on you. Prove to the people that these people did not walk the face of the earth, and you got the floor. Go ahead, brother.
First of all, I want you to understand, and I've told my dear brother this before. Sometimes Michael Edwards makes the worst possible argument. I could make a better argument than he just did, and I don't even agree with it. He makes the worst possible argument. He says that in order to prove that Homo sapiens exist, or another early form of human, all you have to do is find one. Well, brother, that is to say whether a whole species exists. To say that a deer exists, you find a deer corpse. Yeah, we don't have deers now, but we found a corpse, that means that they existed. That absolutely makes sense. We are not talking about Homo sapiens sapiens. We're talking about an individual. By Michael Edwards' horrible logic. By the way, I know you know that I was born in Queens. I was actually born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. There's a story of another young man who was raised in Queens, New York. A real place. To a real group of people. He was born Peter Parker, and you might know him as Spider-Man. Does that mean simply that I can prove to you that Queens, New York exists? That Spider-Man, Peter Parker, must exist? How about Batman, who was born in Gotham? You know that Gotham is one of the names of New York City. So because New York City exists, Batman exists. Brother, that is the worst possible logic. It is not even, I can't even say it's not scholarly. It's not, you wouldn't even get past with that in a barbershop. I can't believe that you just did that. And I can't believe you did it live. This is the kind of thing we're supposed to talk about. And then you and I chop it up and I say, brother, what's wrong? And then you develop another argument. I mean, by his standards, Sonetta, Braveheart, by the way, which has some historical people in it, the movie Braveheart that is by Mel Gibson, must be a documentary because it has some historical characters in it. This strategy makes no sense. This logic makes no sense. Nobody would make that argument because it fails the basic smells. It doesn't make any sense. So let me read you a quote, okay? Because I want you to understand that most scholars today are not in agreement with what Brother Michael Edwards said. Those people that are considered the patriarchs in the Bible are often considered to be mythological individuals, that they were created simply to describe the creation of Israel. Let me read a quote from Reconstructing the Society of Ancient Israel by Paula M. McNutt from 1999. This comes from page 41. Until the last several decades, historians of ancient Israel have tended to begin their accounts of Israel's history with the so-called ancestral and patriarchal period, dated variously to the Middle Bronze Age, ca. 2000 to 1750 BCE, the Middle Bronze to ca. Circa 1750 to 1550, or the early part of the Late Bronze Age. Underlying these histories is an assumption that the traditions recorded in the book of Genesis about Abraham and his descendants, those in the remainder of the Pentateuch about Moses and the Exodus from Egypt, and those in Joshua and Judges about the conquest of and settlement, preserve some historical evidence of a period preceding the birth of Israel as a nation at the end of the early Iron Age. Now listen carefully to this. But it is now generally recognized that there is nothing specific in the Genesis stories that can be definitively related to known history in or around Canaan in the early second millennia BCE. Then she continues, Abraham is identified as coming from Ur of the Chaldeans, but the Babylonians were not known as the Chaldeans until a much later time. I want you to understand that most biblical scholars are not making the argument that he is making. How about Moore and Kelly's book, Biblical History in Israel's Past? They say, and this comes from page 81, this book was issued in 2011, by the way. It says, most histories of ancient Israel no longer consider information from the Egyptian sojourn, the Exodus, and the wilderness wanderings recoverable or even relevant to Israel's emergence. Most important is the fact that no clear extra-biblical evidence exists for any aspect of the Egyptian sojourn, Exodus, or wilderness wandering. What did they just say? They are saying that these characters are not actual people. That is what they're saying. So I'm not going to just give you my opinion. I have my opinion. I'm not going to just tell you what someone told me. I can do that too. I want you to listen to what scholars are saying. Moses did not exist. I could go further into Moses. Abraham did not exist. Joshua did not exist. In fact, I think one of the first people in the Bible in the patriarchal period that existed, that we know as a historical character, is likely Hezekiah. Most scholars, most historians will agree that that's a historical character. But all of the people, virtually all of the people before, are mythological characters. If you think that you can prove that Judea existed and that proves that Jesus and all other people existed, that's ridiculous. By that standard, I might actually be the wall crawler who spins webs and is a superhero, because I was also born in Queens. So I guess I must be Spider-Man. Please, dear brother, stop using such sloppy logic that it can't even pass a basic black barbershop test. By the way, I want you to understand that I am not going to continue to speak about the person that he's referring to, this person that says he's running a gay shrine. Reading what he writes on his page, he's not confused. It's misleading our people. But the reality is, there are no people following him, because our community is smart enough, intelligent enough to understand that that stuff don't make no sense. So that why should I follow every crazy person yelling on the corner? This is crazy. I will not do that. I live in New York City. You know how long it would take for me to just go after everyone yelling on the corner? What I have to do is focus on people who are doing something destructive because people are paying attention to them. Our people are too smart to fall for that guff. So, Netta, how much time do I have left?
You have 1 minute and 35 seconds.
Okay. I want to also go back to something else our dear brother said. He says that all of the descriptions in ancient Kemet must be real. Brother, real does not mean that it has a literal, tangible existence. There are many people in the United States that would fight for this country to have its liberty. But liberty is not something that you can actually feel. And I'm going to tell you, as an African, there was a point where I actually said if I had skills, maybe I would go to fight for our people in the Sudan. I don't have military skills in that sense, so I would have probably been not very helpful to our people. But I felt very clearly that I wanted to fight for the liberty and the freedom of the people. Those aren't tangible things. These are concepts. Concepts simply because you cannot feel it, taste it, touch it, hear it, or see it, it doesn't mean that it's not real. But if you're trying to say simply because a story has some lettuce in it, that must mean it's actual something that happened, that's the most... So that every fictional story is based in some reality? How could you make that argument? That is absolutely crazy. Come on. You have to know you have to do better than that. That makes no sense whatsoever. I want our brother to recognize that these concepts were important to the Kemetic people. So that as he tries to lay homosexuality, I hope he realizes that he's falling way short. The Kemetic people created a system where every divine being had a divine life. If I can go on for just 20 seconds on it.
Go ahead.
Idea. The Kemetic tradition is actually about divine forces having male and female in order to create. That is how the world actually exists. You want to mar me with homosexuality, but your tradition does not have a mother goddess. There's 3 dudes standing there that created all the universe. Is that not homosexuality? Brother Michael, please be very careful when you are aiming your cannon, because you may realize that the wrong side is pointed outward and that the ball is actually coming towards you.
Tom, man.
Please understand that makes no sense.
All right. Jabari, real quick, I need to ask you a question, Jabari. Are you saying it got to be one person you know that existed in the Bible, brother? Somebody, one person. Can you give me one that existed, though, Jabari?
I actually gave you one, Hezekiah.
Oh, Hezekiah. Okay. Because, you know, with us, we tell you that Geb is not a real person. As you know, he's not a real person. You see what I'm saying? It's a symbol. So let me go on over back to my brother Mike. Mike, you got 8 more minutes, brother. Can you prove to us, brother Mike? You there, Mike?
Yes, sir. I'm right here. I'm just being patient.
Do you want to
on this one?
Do you want to go in a little more on Abraham specifically?
I'd like to go in more on the people again. Yes, let me
No. Hold on, brother. Because see, I don't want to deal with the people. I want to deal with a specific person.
Let's not deal with the people.
Let me ask you, can you prove to us? Can you prove to us, brother, that Abraham actually existed? We're talking about Abraham. You got the floor, brother.
Okay. Abraham actually existed. And
all right.
I want to give you a lot of the information, but I don't want to infringe on me and Garfield's debate. So
right. That's tomorrow.
I'm going to touch it, though. I'm going to touch it. I'm going to give you that respect. I told you, I'm going to always give you more than you asked for.
Oh, now hold on. Out of respect for you. Listen, brother, I'm not attacking you. I am not attacking you. I'm trying to stop from even asking you this question because I know we got something tomorrow. So I want to respect that.
No, I didn't say you're attacking me, brother.
No, listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm not even going to ask you that question no more because I know you want to deal with that tomorrow with Garfield. That's what I'm saying to you.
No, we can touch it.
Why you ain't simply tell me that, brother? I would have said, "Oh man, damn, you're right, brother." You know,
because it's an open book. Even if I give you my whole debate with Garfield, even Monday, he won't be able to debunk it.
Okay, go ahead. Because I wanted to give you that. I didn't want to just let you go out there and drop everything. But go ahead, brother. You got the floor.
Okay. Much like Abraham, the brother that Jabari just mentioned was a ruler, a king. Now, I want y'all all to listen to these very important inferences. Jabari's arrogant attitude and his, I can't believe it that you said that. That doesn't equal scholarship. All of this whole debate
I've been here giving you rock solid proof, even empirical data and primary data, just as I've just given you about the Judean people. But we've only heard you say it's not real. But we're dealing with homosexuality, autofellatio, all these things. But again, remember what I told the people: clean glass next to the dirty glass next to the clean glass. Which would you drink out of? The glass where there is hard proof, or the glass where there is filth and sin and homosexuality and rape and rage and anger and lying and adultery and perversion of the Adam, the man, you, the black African man and woman? Here, I'm going to give you a bit of proof. Abraham, without uncovering this stuff in the debate, Abraham was just like the brother Hezekiah, a ruler. No rulers rule anywhere that don't have a people. I say that one more time because I want y'all to think. I know a lot of y'all are stuck on crazy and really are bound in that mind state that I read from Romans earlier, reprobate. But I want you to listen to the inferences. Use your intellect, not emotion. No kings in history are validated by just saying that. I could be a king. We all call each other kings, but how many of us are really ruling our own homes? How many of us are really kings? And how can you prove it? You prove it by your life and your actions. Now let's get to the meat of it. Abraham was a ruler. His story is documented in the Torah. Hezekiah was a ruler. His story is documented in the Tanakh. And exploits in the lands where they said that these two rulers lived. Listen close, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you guys to never make this mistake and get led like this in front of the people again. Never. Challenge what you know is true just for the sake of, I'm losing. I'm losing. I'm losing. Let's start with Hezekiah and work our way backwards to Abraham. The brother said it, and I'm going to knock it over the fence. Hezekiah was a king that ruled the people. And if he ruled the people, those people left exploits, proof that they were here. The Shalom inscription and Hezekiah's tunnel. It is an ancient waterway. Now, we know that this is just overkill. Jabari just said he's real. But I said he's a king over a real people and left exploits. When you look it up, all of you people that are listening, look at the information. Silom inscription. Shalom inscription. This is an inscription in Hezekiah's tunnel that's still there today. Now, I know there's a lot of those people Jabari like to call Tammuz that might want to come against that, but this tunnel and the inscription has been dated. And I don't know why Jabari chooses to use the Tammuz writings in his books when I'm giving you archaeology, when I'm giving you anthropology, and I'm telling you I'm your brother, not Finkelstein, not these white ladies that you're choosing to pull minimalists and bring to a major argument. I said Hezekiah was a king over a people. Those people even chiseled the actual tunnel, the waterway, and the writing on the inscription has to do with the workmanship on the tunnel by the people. What people? Same people I told you Christ descended from. Same people I said Christ descended from. The same people that's on Josephus's book with another primary document. Are you there? Caught the coin. The same people. They chiseled that tunnel and left it for Jabari and Sarnetta. Let me let you know, without giving the whole of the debate up, that I want all of y'all to debunk this about Abraham. And if you can't, you must concede. The story in Genesis says that Abraham bought a field, purchased a field. in Hebron, the place where we know today as Hebron. Right? Garfield, I know he's listening. His ears probably getting hard. His ears are getting hard. His earlobes are getting hard. But in Hebron, the story says that Abraham purchased a field for himself, and himself and his wife would benefit from that field once they died. This place in this field contains what's called the Cave of Machpelah. Cave of Machpelah. You're going to hear this again Monday. So y'all get it, and like I said, try to debunk it by Monday. But that cave has never actually been excavated. But it's sure been tried to be, there's been minimalist scholars that try to debunk it. But I want to say something to you very crazy, Sarnetta. Inside the temple where the cave is, I said inside the temple that they built over the top of it to monetize it, to politicize it, and the government eyes it. Over that is an actual archaeological site that existed in the same place that the Torah said for all of these thousands of years. And let me remind you once again, Abraham is a progenitor of the man Hezekiah. And Abraham is a progenitor of the people called the Judeans. Again, cultural and historical synchronization is what's killing y'all right now, eating you to death. But watch, I'm going to give you something that's going to eat you tonight in your sleep. You're going to be so mad at me, you're going to do what Garfield did. And when I expose it Monday, you're going to be like, man, we can't do this no more. Unless we willing to do what Brother Polite does. Go to Egypt and put my fingers on the stones. You can't go any further than what I give you.
25 seconds.
In the church, this building, is a green sheet that's covering the entrance of a cave, the cave of Machpelah. There is said the remains of that man. But I want to tell you, it's a very protected place. Me, nor Mr. Finkelstein in the Haaretz newspaper, nor William Devers, nor Jabari or Sarnetta are allowed to go there. But I want to tell you, I dare you to go there. I dare you to peek under the green sheet. I dare Mr. Finkelstein, who is supposed to be the world's leading archaeologist, to give me one spoonful of dirt.
Time.
One spoonful of dirt.
All right.
It's going to be a good debate Monday, Sarnetta. You're going to love this one.
Yes. What I want to do is open up the phone lines because it's getting late. Or first, I want you and Jabari to cross-examine each other. Yes, Jabari?
Can I say one thing?
He's bleeding a little bit. He need a Band-Aid.
Yes, you can say one thing. Go ahead, Jabari.
Something interesting happened on January of 2009. Barack Obama actually appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, I don't think that anyone would deny that Barack Obama is a historical figure. In fact, he actually is still alive. But just because Barack Obama was in The Amazing Spider-Man does not make Peter Parker real. I don't know why he thinks that this logic works. This doesn't even, look, you in LA, brother. If you go to a black barber shop and say that, the Jews that haven't even read anything would debunk that. This makes no sense. The standard that he's using is one that does not make sense. And family, I think you understand this. Every single superhero in Marvel and DC are usually situated in cities that actually exist. That doesn't mean that they're real. By the standard, Uncle Sam is the first president of the United States. Uncle Sam. There are historical stories that include fictional characters.
Okay. All right, Brother Jabari. Let me say this to everybody. I want to say this to everybody. The worst thing that you can do is try to use the Bible to prove that these people exist. When you want to try to prove that the people of the Bible existed, you can't use the Bible to prove it. You got to go outside of the Bible. You got to be able to bring information, stuff like that. You can't use the Bible. Of course, the Bible, everybody know the Bible is going to make it look like, yes, he existed. He existed. You got to go outside of that to prove to the people that these people existed. You can't use the Bible. I just want to say that. Now, Brother Mike, go ahead. You can ask Jabari a question. Brother Jabari, do y'all want to have 3 minutes or 2 minutes to answer it? I say 2 minutes is good, right?
Whatever you think.
2 minutes is good. 2 minutes is good to answer the question. So go ahead, Mike. You can ask Jabari a question. You got 2 minutes. If you finish before 2 minutes, we move on to Jabari. You ask Mike a question, same thing. Vice versa. Go ahead, Brother Mike.
Okay. Well, very lively debate, and I enjoyed this very much, man. I'm going to say that first. So here's your question, Brother Jabari. Since you've ducked this one the whole debate, we want to see you give it just a quick shot. That coffin text, that spell that talked about putting your penis between his son's ear. Can you look that up? And I'll give you the text number. Let me go back in my notes.
I already read it. I know the text. You do? Studies the text.
Okay, well let me just read it and give you the question again so we can make sure you get answered. Ready? Hello?
I'm listening.
Oh, I'm sorry. Very sorry. All right. It is spell number or text number. Let me see. Let me get back to it. I'm very sorry about this because I'm supposed to be having it right up. Oh my goodness. You know which spell I'm talking about, brother, so the people can look this stuff up.
Well, hey, Mike, were you going back to the homo stuff?
Yeah, it's a question.
Oh, okay.
He didn't answer. Yes,
okay.
Sir. It's a question and he didn't answer. Okay. Jabari, do you know what I'm talking about just so we can expedite it?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That talks about the penis between the... Here it is, right here. Spell 700. I'll read it.
I think maybe you didn't hear what I said.
Okay, I understand that, but I want you to just deal with the questions. We're gonna hit it.
Go ahead, Jabari.
Tell me how. Here's the question. Tell me how spell 700 helps our black people, being that it says clearly that between his lips, his phallus is between the buttocks of his son. Excuse me, I read two lines together, which is between his lips. Which is between, I'll hear this, listen, which is between his lips, his phallus is between the buttocks of his son and heir. Pederasty, homosexuality.
Are you ready?
How does that help black people?
All right, you got 2 minutes, Jabari. The time is on.
I don't even know if I need 2 minutes on that because I've said this at least 3 times and I don't think that he's hearing what I'm saying. First of all, the plant is between his lips. This is a reference once again to the lettuce that we referred to earlier. The plant is between his lips. Now he's trying to make it sound like the phallus is between somebody's lips. He's confused. He's not even reading the spell properly. Play 333. I know what he's talking about. And I want you to understand this is a reference to Seth. This is a reference to something that Seth attempted to do with Horus, with Heru. I know that one of the things that you might be struggling with, Michael, is that the what you call the coffin text, the pyramid text, in fact, even the way you put them Ruangere, the Book of the Dead, these aren't narrative stories like the books that were put together for the Bible. They reference other things. They are in sometimes ceremonies. You have to understand the underlying mythos to understand what they're even referencing. If you read it straight on, you won't understand what's being said. You could have been studying this for many years and not understand it. I want you to please, I'm your brother. Just listen to me for a second. I have studied this for 30 years. I'm telling you that you are not understanding what is being said here. I don't know what else to say to you. You just don't understand. This is not a reference to Geb. This is a reference to Seth, Sutesh. That's what it's a reference to. And Sutesh did something vile to Heru. At least he tried to, and he was unsuccessful. And Suplex had to be conquered by Heru, who was claiming his father's throne. That is what this means. And I know that it's confusing.
Time.
You just have to read more, brother.
All right, Brother Jabari, you have the floor. Ask Mike a question. Michael Evers.
I really want to ask Michael why he thinks all of the things in Deuteronomy that refer to women being murdered, raped women being sold to their rapists, that deal with how you should hate your wife if she's not a virgin. All of these things that are in Deuteronomy, many, many, many things that came from the mouth of someone that Brother Edwards believes is real, Moses.
All right, ask the question.
You know that Deuteronomy is supposed to be spoken by Moses. I want you to actually explain how you think it's okay, the sheer misogyny that is in Deuteronomy. How do you reconcile that? Because he said it was okay earlier.
All right,
how
Mike,
reconcile that?
Time, you got 2 minutes.
Okay. I'll just say, how do I say it's okay? I'll just make your question easy for the people to understand, because this brother here, he thinks we're all crazy. He thinks we're all crazy. Again, I said that was the instructions and what was correct for the implied audience. Everyone that has studied textual criticism on any scholarly level understands what an implied audience is. You don't pick up a document and it says, oh, kill your neighbor because he took your wife. And you don't read who that's written to, what time, and just like Dr. Williams taught me again, the who, what, when, where, and why. Now, I said those people lived in Canaan. And the story says that they were in exile. They had left a place that they were trying to get rid of everything. I'm never going to say it's wrong for Moses to say there is a death penalty for certain sexual deeds. There should be. When you're in a desert and there's nobody to help you, if Jabari brings in AIDS and gives it to somebody, no, you have to die for certain things, and there can't be any, this timid ideology of, well, let's just have autofellatio and it's going to be all right. No, when you're building a nation and you have a military and you have a law system, some things have to be cut and dry. Cut and dry. So if the law is that we can't have young ladies being promiscuous, which breeds sexually transmitted disease and many other things, if the law is we don't have a hospital, we have only us. She can't deviate and the male can't deviate, both under the penalty of death. This is what you find in Deuteronomy.
Time.
If a man, and let me give a grace period, please.
Go ahead,
15
brother.
seconds. If a man lays hold on a specific type of damsel, it gives negative for the man and the woman. Let's not act like the people are ignorant. But in the coffin text, it says a man having sex with a child and his own heir. You can't tell me that ain't real, baby. Go ahead.
All right, it's your turn, Mike. Ask Jabari a question.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. This is probably the hardest one. Hold on, brother. Wait a minute.
Hold on, Jabari. You could probably answer that in this question when he coming. Go ahead.
I know you're hot,
He's
Jabari.
asking me a question. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, brother.
He's asking me a question. Okay, I'm quiet now. I'm listening.
Yes. Okay. I want to ask you a question as relates to being a priest and your love for the people. Do you think you're better than King Rasumba? He's an open homosexual man.
Mike, what's going on with you with this homosexual?
Wait a minute.
Mike is infatuated with this shit. It's crazy, man.
No,
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Do what you do. Go ahead.
And to our own people. And to our own people.
Go ahead.
I love that brother. I'm not infatuated with him. I'm not gay. I got a wife. Right? Got children. Jabari's not gay. He got a wife. right? That's what we know of him. But I love that brother Rasumba. I have love for him. Why? Because I think that nobody has ever told him what God says and stood on that and actually showed him that, brother, I love you. And I'm telling you, I'm trying to reach out to Rasumba through a priest in his own community. So here's the reason behind that was the reason behind the question.
All right, ask your question again. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Do you think that you are better than him because you refuse to address him? Every time you say things about him, you diminish him. He doesn't have any followers, but he's only 3,000 people behind you. Why don't you take this time to say to him and all the other gay people in your culture, which they're numerous, that you love them, that you will take time to teach them what the coffin text really means if it don't mean what I said? Why are you acting like you're better than him when he is saying that y'all are both Kemetic high priests, bro?
All right, Jabari, you got the question?
Yeah.
All right, you got 2 minutes. Let's go.
First of all, I want you to be really clear. He just said that there are numerous gay people in the Kemetic community. This brother continually acts like he knows about my house and everyone else's house. I don't know where he got that from. He continually puts little things in there like that are ridiculous. And I'm going to say to you, I am not saying that I am better than this misguided brother, but I want to be clear. I've read his website, and he is intentionally misleading people. In that instance, he's a charlatan and a fraud. And I want to also say to you that one of the reasons why Brother Michael Edwards even brought this up is because I sent him an article, and I didn't even mean it as a dig. I was actually saying, Brother Michael, I know we disagree, but I would rather people who are Hebrew follow you than this dude. People who live in New York know that on April 28th, just a few days ago of this year, there was a front page article in the New York Daily News that described how one of the folks that leads the Hebrew Israelites, the Israelite Church of God in Christ in Harlem, actually pled guilty to defrauding the people. I didn't show this to Brother Michael Edwards because I said this was his responsibility. What I was trying to say is, while we disagree, I would rather, if people are going to be Hebrew, I really wish they would follow you, Michael, and not people like this who are trying to take advantage of our people. Now, when Michael got a little upset when I mentioned him, by the way, I could read to you what he said on Facebook. He didn't say that brother's confused, I'm going to go and I'm going to try to teach him. He didn't say that. He said very negative things about him. And I'm quite sure that Brother Michael has no intention of going to deal with him. So why does Brother Michael want me to deal with someone who has no following? This guy has a whole temple in Harlem. Why would he not go and talk to him if I have to talk to some random dude about him misleading people? And by the way, he has no following. I'm telling you, as someone who has been part of the Kemetic community.
Okay, Tom.
Wait, you got it.
Okay, you got a grace period. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me do this very quickly. He also said he wanted to agree that it was okay to stone women because they could carry disease. But there's no mention of what men can do. They can have as much premarital sex as they want. Do men not carry disease? By the way, he also said Deuteronomy made sense at the time. You have to understand that Moses was reading Deuteronomy on the 40th year of the journey. They weren't still in the wilderness. They were about to go into Israel when he made these laws. By the way, let's go even further. Deuteronomy also includes the Decalogue, the Ten Commandments. If Brother Michael would like you to believe that those rules are only appropriate in the time period they were written in, you must ask Brother Michael Edwards if he is okay for him to kill someone. Because by that judgment, the Ten Commandments are also only rendered, because they come from the same book, Deuteronomy, they're only rendered appropriate for that time. There is so much slipshotty logic thinking here that Brother Edwards really, I don't know why he thinks that he's prevailing here.
All right, Tom.
He really does need to go back to the
All right, this way I'll let y'all two go ahead and engage in conversation. But before that, I got to ask Mike this question. Mike, there's so much with you yourself admitting it, that, you know, you refer to the Kemetic community as homosexuals, a lot of people in the community as gay. Brother, I'm quite sure you see the open homosexuality within your own book, within these churches, with the molestation going on. I mean, come on, Mike. You don't deal with that amongst your own book and in your own community. Why is you focusing so much on homosexuality of ancient Kemet when you started off saying you got to put up a clean glass? You can't put up a clean glass and set it up to a dirty glass. You see what I'm saying? And you got these dirty ass glasses all around the book. How do you come off talking about the Kemetic people when you haven't cleaned house yet within your own book, brother? That question is for you, Mike.
Okay. When you read a book, and we learned this when we was in elementary school, right? When you read a book, reading a book is not all to understanding a book. Okay, you can sit there and read it, and you could be dyslexic, and you could read all of it upside down, or you could read it all and forget what you read after you get to the last period on the page. But comprehension is what changes you from being just a reader to a person with competence and able to articulate what you just read. Now, you just said the Bible, and you're a prime example of this. Listen, you said the Bible needs to clean its front door. You need, sweep around your own front door, Mike, before you try to sweep around mine. That's a Williams Brothers song, by the way. But the Bible, from cover to cover, like I said, simply because it documents homosexuality between Gentile nations or a fallen king or even a fallen Israelite, if that were possible, but I don't really think that's in there. But we'll just say for the sake of argument, if it was, what does the Bible actually say about what it says about what it documents? I'll explain that. If it's talking about a condition that exists in Sodom and Gomorrah, it doesn't mean that the Bible says sodomy is okay. It's documenting sodomy in Gomorrah and this place called Sodom. But the Bible comes back and it pronounces what is a judgment. Never forget that. When you read and you try to comprehend something, don't flip it upside down and try to read it. You can't get it like that. You've got to read it right side up and understand everything that it says. There is nowhere in the Bible where it condones homosexuality. Not one time. Neither does it condone adultery and fornication. Neither does it condone murder. It does indeed command to kill.
Now that's
a contradictory statement.
That's good, Mike.
That one was going to stir you up.
Now that's good,
Let
Mike.
me give it to you.
No. You gave me too much, brother. That's good, brother. We want to move forward.
Please. Brother, please, let me just finish. Give me a grace period of 20 seconds, please.
Go ahead.
There is a difference between murder and killing. Our own society teaches us that, and it's true. When you have to defend your children, it's not murder if you got to kill somebody and send them to the center of the earth. But it's murder when you say, Rasumba is less than me. He doesn't have any followers. Why should I go and teach him? No, wait a minute. You've become a murderer. You've become a murderer. But I said our book teaches the difference between murder and killing. You have to have comprehension skills to understand that. Understand what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. All right, thank you, brother. Sir. Just like you said, the Bible don't condone that. Nowhere in ancient Kemetic science where you see the Kemetic science or Kemetic teachings condone it on that side either, Mike. And another thing, everybody know if Jabari was to even make any connection to hook up with that dude with that faggot over there, that homo, everybody will be saying, I told you, Jabari. See, look at Jabari. So come on, Mike. We can't do that, brother.
Him a faggot, though, bro, when we trying to say
because that's what he is. He came out and told you who he was. He came out and said that he is. Brother, there's nobody saying that the importance of him is not the question. I'm just saying that
he's a part of our community.
No, he's not a part of our community, brother. Come on, cut it out, man. Cut it out, brother. He's a part of his own community. He don't have any followers. He don't have people following him. Come on, Mike. You playing games here. But anyway, it's you and Jabari. Go ahead. You and Jabari can go ahead. You and Jabari, go ahead and have your conversation. Go ahead. It's open now.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jabari. Y'all go.
Now, Jabari, can I? And so we don't start, talking over each other. I'm gonna still afford you that time to talk without being interrupted. But I'm asking for the same, even if we go back and forth, right?
Sure. Yo, I want to be able to hear you. I don't want to just try to win because I'm talking over you. That's not right. That's not how I would do it. But I want to just say to you, Brother Michael, did you call the Harlem cult leader? Who is in the did you call him and say, I'm gonna teach this brother, Jermaine Grant? Did you try to teach him?
Jermaine Grant.
Go ahead. I sent you the article. Are you above him? Why didn't you? This is your brother. I don't know why you wouldn't actually try to assist him. Are you above him?
Okay. Would you like me to answer?
I want to be clear. No, that's a rhetorical question. It really is a rhetorical question. Yeah, I'm not asking.
This costs for more time, but that's okay.
You're being disingenuous here. You're being disingenuous.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I truly believe that this brother is misrepresenting the Kemetic tradition intentionally. And I would rather than give him a platform, I would rather ignore him. Now I'm going to tell you the only people I've ever heard mention him are people in your community. I have to be really honest. I've never heard anyone in the Kemetic community mention him. And I know many Kemetic leaders all around the country, all the way from LA. You know that I was in LA assisting a shrine with their initiation recently, right, Brother Michael? All the way from LA to St. Croix to...
You didn't tell me when you was here, man.
No, because I was running a retreat. I didn't have time. I went from the airport right there and right back. But I want you to understand that as someone who has been active in the community for a long time, who is a Kemetic high priest, this brother is not part of the Kemetic community. Just because he found someone to make an arm for him does not mean he's part of the Kemetic community. And it does not make him a priest. Anyone can say anything online. But if by your standard, if you think I should reach out to him, are you going to reach out to someone who really has a following? The cult leader who actually pled guilty to defrauding $5 million. I'm sorry,
$2 million. Beautiful question. And that's a fire question, Jabari. That is a fire question.
Because when I mentioned him, wait, let me say this to you.
Okay,
when I mentioned him, you kind of got offended. And I had to clarify. I was like, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm trying to say I think that you're a moral brother, and this brother is immoral.
Mm-hmm.
And so your apostle, and I can read it for you if you want later, if you like. You didn't say, we need to help this brother. We need to talk to this brother.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is something you're doing for the people on YouTube. That you don't really feel that way.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now, in our tradition, Jabari, this is why I'm saying to you, it's so important, brother, that you understand what I'm saying. That you're not, you're not a reprobate. You're very intelligent, and I know that, this is all for pride's sake. You feel me. I know you feel me deeply. Like, you couldn't miss it because the people are not missing. But I'm saying to you, brother, when I just read to you all of those spells, and it's more, that deal with written text and codified literature, and expensive literature at that. Brother, look at our book. Please, I'm taking my time to get you your attention to the book. The book itself told that brother that you just spoke about what not to do to land himself in the stead that he did. All of the things that he did, brother, are sentenced in our book. Even in the commandments, There is a command not to steal, not to covet, not to defraud your brother and your neighbor. There is a command in there not to lay with your neighbor's wife. All of these things are things he's guilty of. Not only, by the law standards, but in the United States law standards, but by God's law in the system that he claimed to believe in. Now, what I'm saying to you is, our book is written that way for a purpose, so that it actually works in linear fashion with the teaching and the community. We don't have to have everybody telling each other, don't talk to your mama like that. Because in our community, it's written that you should honor your mother and your father, that your days be long upon the land that Yahweh gives you, right? So I don't have to come and tell every brother that's doing like the mighty Hebrew. I mean, not mighty Hebrew. Guerrilla Hebrew. The guerrilla Hebrew. The guerrilla Hebrew years ago. Right? Remember when I rebuked the guerrilla Hebrew about talking bad about his mother?
Mm-hmm.
I said to him, this is a shame that I got to tell you this as a priest. When it's written, you see, when it's written, this is the standard of codified literature in our community. This is why we bake and we love the word of God so much, because it means something. But when we look at literature in your community, we reading Spell 700 that talks about, and I don't care what you say it means, we live in a world where words mean something, even transliterated and translated words. It says here by Mr. Faulkner. Faulkner is one of the leading translators of these texts and one of the leading curators of the actual documents. Come on. If he's talking about having sex with a child that's his own heir, you're going to tell me you don't understand why King Rasumba missed all of what he should have understood. You understand that homosexuality is wrong, but he don't understand it because there's nothing written, no codified literature that says in your real life there should be a demonstrable difference between cartoons and real life, perversion and righteousness. That's why we love the Bible. Do you love the coffin text, brother? Here's your question. Fire back at you. Do you love the coffin text?
That was a really long exposition without.
I know. That's how the word of God comes, brother.
Okay. Let me try to answer very clearly. I want you to understand that I read the coffin text. I find great principles, great teaching within the coffin text that you call the coffin text, within the pyramid text, even within the Rehu Part and Murungira. I think that there are great teachings there. But I want you to understand that sometimes you can read something and not understand what you're reading because it's not a narrative like the books that you call the Bible. They all reference something. Anyone who has read it before knows that they can read a paragraph and say, I don't understand what I just read. If you want something that's clearer and a narrative, you should read, and this is me trying to be helpful to you, Brother Michael. You should read maybe the Maxims of Pataho text, the Instructions of Men of Most. Those are more directed. There's one person speaking to another. The cosmology is mostly ceremony. So when you're doing the ceremony, you don't talk about all of the background. You have to be able to understand the background because they were written to people who were practitioners. So I know you don't understand what you read. Please allow me to explain that what you read, you are misunderstanding what you read. And I want to go further. When I said to you, you're saying that I should go after and try to help this brother. I'm saying to you that I think that he is intentionally trying to mislead people, and he is reading the Kemetic text, he is describing the Kemetic deities in a way that is inappropriate. But because he's essentially a lunatic on a corner yelling, I'm ignoring him. Because I am not going to give him a platform.
That's not
now,
right.
Well, you say that's not right, but listen to what Michael Edwards wrote about the article that I sent him on the cult leader in Harlem. Folks in New York City.
When you say the cult leader, Jabari, when you say the occult leader in Harlem, you have to make it plain that he's an occult leader in Harlem who is a Hebrew Israelite. Hold on, brother Jabari. Jabari, yeah, you got to let the people know who he is.
The article is on April 28, 2019. It was on the front page of the Daily News on that day. That was Sunday. And the article is called 20% Tithe. Harlem cult leader who faces jail over church money scheme is still running congregation. See, they don't understand that he didn't just do something wrong and the people said, oh.
But time out real quick. I'm going to let you go, Jabari. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you go, brother. Just time. See, I got to do you too. Like, Mike, come on, man. Hold on. You're going to go. Because you're not making it clear. You're not making it clear. You're just saying a cult leader. Anybody can be a cult leader. We are talking about a Hebrew Israelite who have a bigger following than ISUPK. A bigger following.
A Hebrew Israelite, Jabari. You got to say it, brother.
The next sentence I was going to read is just that.
Go ahead.
So listen to what I was about to read. The man's name is Jermaine Grant. He's 43. It says who heads the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ in Harlem. I want you to understand that we're talking about one by Michael standards. This should be one of his brothers, right? I know this space very well. I live in Harlem. You should know that when I walk past there, the brothers often have something very choice to say to me. These folks are part of the Hebrew Israelite tradition. In fact, they're one of the largest congregations in the Hebrew Israelite tradition. Let me say to you that when I sent the article to Michael, I was not meaning to insult him. And I clarified that. But listen to what Michael says right after I send it to him. In all caps, like he was yelling. Trust me, I have many with me, but I'm an army of one. Just look at Garfield and you today. Red herrings, insults, wrong rebuttals, mostly him, LOL, but you will have your time with your own question about the violence of He was very angry. The next thing he wrote is good article, but he's not a Hebrew. He's a nut and a criminal. And then he posts the article that he searched for this dude, Rastam Abbas. That's the reason why he brought him up.
Now, can I address my post after? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He was trying to actually pull me away from this Hebrew Israelite leader that built $2 million from his followers. They have this particular church, as they call it, this Israelite church, has locations all over the country. They probably even have one in LA. So I want you to understand that Michael is doing something for you on YouTube, Barry, by saying, you're acting like you're above him. Why don't you deal with him? Okay, this is a man that is intentionally misleading our people who has no followers. And this person that Michael will not speak to, he called him a nut and a criminal 2 days ago. He didn't say, you know what? I gotta go and deal with this guy. I really do. So please, family, please don't be confused when Michael's quiet down night. Please don't.
Oh man, you got me sweating laughing and stuff, man. Okay, and I'm sorry I'm laughing because it's not funny. You know what I mean? It's not funny. It's just funny the way you putting it. Now I said directly, and I'm not gonna lie, that's what I said. But Brother Jabari, one more time, Israelite priests stand on our codified literature and our culture. That's what the Bible says about him. I'm going to say that for you one more time, fam. Israelites stand on our codified laws and literature and culture. Has to do with even oral teachings. That's not just what I called him, but that's what the Bible calls him. The Bible calls him a criminal.
again, in the very fundamental teachings that the Most High spoke audibly, as the text relates. This didn't even come through Moses. This came hollering, blazing out to the people. Thou shalt not commit any act that is negative towards your brother. And I wanted to say it the way the negative confessions had it, because I wanted to be artistic with my words, but I couldn't do that. So I just said the way the Bible says. Thou shalt not covet your neighbor's ox, ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. Why did he? Okay. Oh my goodness. But the Bible says don't steal. This is what he's in jail for, Jabari. The brother ignored not only what we believe, what we preach and teach every day, but what the Bible says. That's not our fault. That's his fault that he became a criminal by our nation standards and by our law standards. And I'm saying our nation meaning America, and then our laws being the Israelite laws. He's guilty by both. And if I'm saying he's a nut, I'm literally saying that's what the scripture calls him too. The Bible talks about fools all through the scripture. It talks about the man. It talks about the man that rejects wise counsel. The Bible itself, Jabari, is wise instruction.
And because of that, you don't have to deal with them, though, right, Mike?
Wait a minute.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
Let me get it out, though.
I'm saying because of that, you don't need to speak with them, right, Mike? Because of the Bible.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not really what I'm saying. I'm saying that in a sense, but that's not really what I'm saying. Listen, in the New Testament, it says, and this is love, Jabari. Watch this. This is an abstract understanding of love. Love in our world means agape or phileo or eros, right? But I'm going to give you a new type of love, Jabari. In the Epistle of John, in the New Testament, in the back, it says, and this is love, that we walk after his commands. And those commands, Jabari, are not even grievous. What commands, Michael? The commands that we have been given from the very beginning. That we ought to love our mothers and fathers and honor them. We ought to love the Most High and put none above or beside him. That we ought not steal, kill, murder, or those things that defraud our neighbor or hurt our neighbors or hurt our communities. Brother, the whole Bible is valuable for that very reason. Nobody that picks a Bible up ever needs me or you to tell them what's wrong. But again, let's bring it back full circle. Why didn't King Rasumba know that it's wrong to be a homosexual in Kemet? He's reading books that you say don't mean what they say, but they say what they say, and they cost what they cost. And they have homosexuality, they have bestiality, they have cannibalism, they have what Herodotus saw, and I'm saying bestiality on a major scale. Herodotus said he walked and saw him having sex with goats, the women in Egypt. Why is all of this prevalent in your culture? Because there's really no codified system that speaks against it at the textual level. So now, here's your question. I want to give you a question. If the Kemet people were so intelligent, and like you said, you guys are not understanding, and the old Kemet shuffle, that you guys just don't know what it means. But like I said, this book costs money, and it's got words on the page, and it says autofellatio. And tell me, bro, where is the command to not be Rakim Sumba, whatever his brother's name is, and tell me, why is it that you won't take the time, even right now? You keep on saying it. I want to point that out to the people too. I'm going to explain what it means, Michael, because you don't understand it. But you still haven't explained it. How is it right for you to have a book that says penis in the buttocks of a child? No, oh no, oh my goodness. Because if it was oh my goodness, you'd sue Mr. Faulkner. You'd sue Budge. You'd sue the British Museum. You'd sue Real World. You see, so it's not, oh my goodness, it's not Michael's doing this to you. This is the books that y'all tell people, this is what Timid is built on, the coffin text. But when they buy the coffin text and they read the coffin text, and the coffin text says pedophilia, says homosexuality, and they come back to Jabari and you say, don't believe your lying eyes. Believe me, it don't mean that. How do you feel, brother, now when I'm saying that to you and I show you the difference in these two books? That's your question. You should feel really bad that after 2 hours, you still ain't told us why Osiris was sucking his own penis. You still haven't told us why Geb did it and why it's on a papyrus. Why is it that your intelligent society, brother, couldn't erase those papyruses and say, let me do what Jabari says? Jabari says, none of these things mean anything. The coffin text, burn it up. Don't mean what it says. The papyrus of Kenutawi, no, it's not autofellatio, it's regeneration. Well, why couldn't you do that today? Why couldn't they do it then? If it's about regeneration, teach it with your mouth. Teach it with real science, numbers, mathematics, philosophy, codified literature and texts. Clean glass next to the dirty glass, Jabari. Come on,
okay. Okay. From here we're gonna
throw
move.
The towel on that for him. Throw the towel. He's bleeding a little bit too much.
We're gonna open up the phone lines real quick. Who's calling in? Let's get these callers in. Let's get a couple of callers before we end this show. Come on, family. Now it's time to call. You don't want to call?
I'm not going to shoot your head off. I'm not going to do that to you. You can call in and share your questions, even if you want to cuss me out. You call in, family.
Call from
Bino. I love you. I love you.
Peace and Black Power. Hold on, everybody. Please be peace and Black Power, family. What's your name and where you calling from?
Peace, Savannah. This is Dino from New York, Savannah.
Dino, what's happening? You have a question for the brothers? Remember, let's be respectful to both of them, and let's get your answer through there. Let's go.
I wanted to tell you something, Silent. What's up with Harlem? Pastor Manning just got locked up for
what?
pedophilia or something.
I didn't know that. What?
Yep.
Jabari, did you know that, Jabari?
I just seen that. I just seen the news. On the news.
Oh, I gotta get over there tomorrow, man. Oh,
brother,
man.
What's your name, man? What's your name, brother?
My name is Bino.
Hold on.
I want you to see.
Hold on. Hey, Jabari, did you know about that, Jabari?
Yeah.
Did you know that Pastor Manning, they say, has been arrested for pedophilia or something like that?
I did not hear that he was. I know that he was caught.
When was this? When was this?
Camera. Wait, listen. Wait. He was caught because a woman that a young lady he was having sex with actually caught him on tape. Yeah, I had not heard that he was arrested. I
don't know if he is arrested. I just know he got caught. He got caught.
Accused. He's been accused.
Oh man, I gotta get over there tomorrow, man.
I know he's been accused.
I gotta get over there tomorrow with this information.
This is really relevant.
It's time to hear. Let's hear him.
I just wanted to say something before you get.
I just wanted to know this. I never know that.
No, I didn't know. Hell no, I didn't know. I got to get over there now tomorrow.
Check this out, y'all. This is a trip. Jabari just told me that I'm supposed to be talking and calling this stuff out. The book of Isaiah said to cry loud about it and to spare not, to show the people. On my channel, that some of these Kemet guys love to flag, is a video that exposed Pastor Manning. The whole conversation with him and the little girl is on my channel, RBG Hebrew.
All right, y'all go check that out.
With my face on it.
Hold on. I want the guest, the one that called in. Let him finish. Let him. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question, brother?
Question, like, why is Michael Edwards keep pushing this homosexuality when it's one little thing and it's not even a teaching?
Good question.
But like everybody's learning, that's not like the Bible. Everybody's not reading that book.
Okay, that's your question.
Yeah, that's my question.
Okay,
keep it short, Mike. Just keep it short. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not. Here's why, brother. Here's why. Because your sexuality is the most prime and most important thing that's going on under the sun. Not Donald Trump. Not what's going on with Farrakhan or with this brother, this bad pastor that needs to be locked up. But your sexuality is the most important thing under the sun. Why? Because your sexuality is your link to your life. The brother Jabari just talked about regeneration. How do we regenerate? We regenerate through heterosexual sex. And if it's not going on in any sector of our community, that part of the community needs to be worked on, needs to be spoken to, needs to be called out. It needs to be pointed to its own systems and said, follow your own systems, like Jabari said. If this brother is perverting it, somebody needs to point him in the right direction. In love.
Mike, no, I don't understand what you're saying, Mike. You're funny as hell, man. Mike, you don't think he know? Come on, Mike. What is we gonna say to him that's gonna make him go in the right direction, Mike? Come on, man. Let's be real, Mike. Come on, man.
Let me end it. I'm gonna let the caller hit it back if he wants to. I like it. Here's what. Okay, let me just give 20 seconds. I'll pass it to you, Jabari. When me and Jabari was talking about negative birth rate, me and the brother kind of disagreed, but we both understand what each other was saying. Negative birth rate is something that you should study, brother, because this is why homosexuality is so important to the Israelites. We already teach about it to each other. It's in our books to teach the world, but our close community don't understand anymore that this is a growing trend. It's a growing cancer. And if it continues to grow, then it will place us on.
Hello?
Mike, you there?
It looks like we went dead for a second.
Mike, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, I can hear you though, Michael. Mike, can you hear us?
No, he calling back in now. He calling back in.
Well, can I?
I'm back. I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, please. Yeah, just negative birth rate. We don't need to be on par with the white man in negative birth rate in any sector of our community because it spreads. And I'd like to speak about how it spreads, but the time is limited here. But you understand, it's very important. Sexuality and proper use of it, brother. That's why.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Jabari.
I want to be clear that if two dudes are in a relationship, at least as a heterosexual man, I truly don't understand. I cannot say that is worse than a group of men stoning a woman to death because she's not a virgin and she sought to get married. For Michael Edwards to try to make it sound that the rampant misogyny in the Bible is okay is ridiculous. And he also, by the way, he began to quote Deuteronomy, saying that we are priests live by laws. But then when I read the Deuteronomy saying that you should stone a woman to death, he said, oh, that was just for that time. You have to decide, Brother Michael, what, and I was waiting to say this for like 5 minutes, brother. Yeah, how could you quote Deuteronomy and say the priest live by laws, and then when I read you the law, try to say that's a law for that time. You are, and then say that you agree with it. This is ridiculous. By the way, with regard to birth rate, with regard to birth rate, Michael Edwards made the fallacious comment that we should be concerned about gay people because we don't want to have, because we have a negative birth rate. And I said to him today that he does not understand what that means. And he's clarifying he doesn't understand what that means. A birth rate is the number of people that are born in a particular period of time. You can have a negative birth rate if the number of people that are born is less than the number of people that are dying. And I want to be very clear to you that the African American community, and in fact also the Latino community, do not have a negative birth rate.
All right. Hold on, Jabari.
Wait, I'm not finished. Hold on, I'm not finished. Please look at Pew Research Center. This is scholarship. I want to tell you where I'm getting it from. It's not just my idea. Go to the Pew Research Center, their May 17th article from 2012. It's titled, Explaining Why Minority Births Now Outnumber White Births. And finally, I have to say to you, what is Michael suggesting that we do? Is he suggesting that we find gay men and women and force them to have children? Is he suggesting that we
That's a good question, though. I want to answer all of these. That's a good question. That was a good question.
You are doing. Wait a minute, I'm not finished yet.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I know it's a good question. That's why I asked it. But listen, is he suggesting that we force gay people not to be gay? I'm going to tell you something very clearly that Michael will not want to hear, but is absolutely true. Gay people were born gay. And I know that some of you in the audience, it's not necessarily a popular statement. You have to understand that people are not becoming gay. There's no gay ray that someone's going to shoot you with and all of a sudden you're going to become gay. Gay people are born gay. I want them to be who they are, because when they pretend to be something else, that's when damage occurs. That's when you have women like Terry McMillan who are struggling because she says her husband, who everyone looked at and said, oh, he looks like he's gay. Her husband was gay and he didn't tell her. That's what happened. Look at how damaging that was to her life.
All right, Jabari, long winded. Let's go. All right, hold on, Michael. Hold on, Michael.
Now let another call.
Yes, I got to let you go, brother. Thank you, man.
Oh.
All right. Michael Edwards, real quick, I got to ask you this, and you can answer all the questions you want. I want Judas Nazareth to call in and stop ducking. Okay. Michael Edwards, here you go. Who is writing in Deuteronomy 34:5 about the death of the person? How can he write about his own death? Who is doing the writing in 34:5 in Deuteronomy?
Okay, that's very easy.
Yeah.
Very easy question. Yeah. And it's a very good question because a lot of people are at that level. Who's doing the writing?
Yes.
Would you like to read it so that we
No, I want you to just tell us, brother, because I ain't got. Go ahead.
Okay. Most of the writings that's being done in the Bible are being done by what are called redactors. Redactors. If you look up that word, you'll see what it is.
What is it, brother? What is the word? What is it?
Redactors.
All right.
Redactors. Let me sit down so my phone don't break up. Redactors. People that make the story linear, and when you understand the makeup of the Bible, all of these things become clear. Like when I tell you to study Septuagint, and it being an ongoing work, and the translation process, all of these things have to do with comprehension of the text. So if it says that it's speaking about Moses' death, comprehend that Moses could not have ever conscionably written about his death after he died, right? That's easy to understand. So it must have been a redactor or someone on the scene. Those things have to do with comprehension of the text, not just being offended at what it says and saying, oh, I think I found something. No, the Bible's history is more complex and comprehensive than that. And there's a reason why things are written that way. So you're saying people could write about their own death after they die, Mike? No, brother, you just like ignore what I just said to you. Yeah. Yes, I know that doesn't, and he doesn't understand what redactors are as of yet, but that's why we debate. So people can watch this, go back and look at it, and define what a redactor is. That's why we do debate. So all right, we'll get it later on.
All right, so go ahead. You can answer Jabari's question now.
Okay. Now, Jabari, if you guys go on Facebook and look at the post that this brother pulls up, you'll see that I'm the first person that told Jabari what negative birth rate is. He kept telling me, I don't know what I'm talking about. when I made the supposition that homosexuals are in a perpetual state of negative birth rate. And I want to say something to you really right now that I want you to think. Listen. How do homosexuals keep growing in their community? If they're not birthing naturally, they're not having babies, they're only getting babies by adoption.
You know, he asked you, what do we do, Mike? He said, what do we do with them?
Brother.
That's what he was asking.
Hold on, brother. He asked a whole lot. Hold on.
He's not answering my question.
Right. That's why I'm trying to make it clear for him.
Hold on.
Mike, you need to hold on, because if you don't answer the question, you're going to go on for long, for nothing.
You telling me?
You're going to filibuster Jabari. Ask him the question, Jabari. Ask him the question, Jabari.
No. You're telling me you're psychic. You're psychic. You're going to tell me what I'm about to say?
Go ahead, brother.
Put your seatbelt on, brother.
I'm going to put it on. I'm going to strap it up right now. Go ahead, brother.
Yes. Don't answer question in fear in front of the people. That's not scholarly. So, again, the question, Sarnetta,
go ahead,
is very apparent, brother. It's very apparent. Would you like to restate it one more time so we can get it straight? Or you let me go?
I knew you forgot it. Go ahead, Jabari. Ask him the question.
I got like 20 questions. I want to make sure I get it right.
You just told me you want me to restate it. Now you want me to restate it.
No, I said Sarnetta, not you.
No, Jabari asked you the question, brother. Jabari asked you the question.
Okay, restate it, because y'all playing tennis. So you ask it, and he asked it another way. So
you know,
give me which one you want me to answer. Which one?
Why don't you just?
No. Why don't you just ask me the question?
I'll ask you the question. Listen, you asked.
Because I was talking about negative birth rate, and you threw in a question.
Answer the question. I'll ask you the question again. I'll ask you it again.
Ask the question.
What is it? You gotta listen. I said, what is it that you would have us do? Are you asking us to go to gay people and force them to? I'm not finished. I'm asking the question. Would you have us to force them to be in heterosexual relationships and have children? What is it that you propose to us to do? To get us to stop
so I can answer the question, brother.
Are
you going to keep on going with a run-on sentence?
Because the question was a little bit longer.
That's rather pseudo, brother.
Listen, Mike,
that's rather pseudo. Ask me the question and stop so I can answer.
Mike, he got to ask you the question. Mike, he got to ask you the question, brother. You keep stopping him. Let him get it out.
You ask the question and you keep going.
Because he's still asking the question, Mike. You got to hear the whole question, brother.
Give him his 30 seconds. Give him his 30 seconds. My goodness. I know it gets hellish at this moment.
And I said, this is the end of what I hope you heard the first question. I'm not going to say
what would I have y'all do? That's the question. Go ahead.
No, what would I have us do? Everyone.
Okay. What would I have y'all do? Okay, go ahead.
To gay people, would you have us force gay people into heterosexual relationships to have children, or would you have us force them not to be gay?
All right.
What would you have us do?
Here comes the answer at the end of that long diatribe and question.
Oh my goodness.
Here's what I'd have you do, Jabari. I'd have you understand.
Us do. You too, Mike. You too. Us.
You see that?
Because you're saying Jabari. He said us, brother. You got to understand the question.
Jabari.
No, it's not. He said, what would you have us do?
What would you have us do? You and Sarnetta?
No, you too. The people. Everybody, brother. See, that's why we saying you don't hear the question, man.
I was answering it to everybody, but you changed it to us, your community.
No, Mike. Right, that's not.
All right, brother. Stop stalling.
You're not hearing the question, Mike. That's why we trying to make you hear the question, brother.
Sit back and put your seatbelts on. Both of y'all. Click up. Buckle up, baby. Take you on another ride. Okay? All of that you're doing, it doesn't change the fact that I'm winning the debate and what I'm saying the people are resonating with. Now, here's what I'd have all of y'all do, not just Jabari and Sarnetta and the gay community, but here's what I'd have you do. Not kill them, not diminish them, Because it's your community. My community has a codified rule that says that they can't live. Now, you can't accept that. You won't accept that. You'll say to me, that's not fair. But you'll let him kill himself because of your complacency. Now, listen, here's what I'd have you do. You and Sonetta and all of y'all that say, do as thou wilt.
Including you, right? Including you, right, Mike?
No.
But that's the question, brother. See, that's the question.
My name is RBG Hebrew, not Kemetic.
But so that's the question he asked you, brother. If you don't want, he said, what should we do as a people? That's what he's asking you. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
Put your seatbelt back on. Okay?
You're not answering the question.
If this was a roller coaster, you'd be dead because you've been out that seatbelt. Like a little.
You're not answering the question, brother. Go ahead.
I'm going to get to it. Here's what I would have you do.
You keep saying you. You keep saying you. It's not you, brother.
Everyone in the world.
Jabari, ask him the question again because he don't understand the question, brother.
Boy, the people gonna laugh y'all out the building with this pseudo.
I know.
Pseudo stuff you doing.
I know.
Come on, man. Now y'all done lost the debate. This is just the question part. Let me answer, brother. Let me answer. Okay, here's what I'd have you do. You should follow your own codified text. Just like I follow. If the Bible says homosexuals have a certain...
Mike, you're not answering the question, brother. Let's move forward, brother. Because you got a problem with answering questions, man. Let's just move forward.
Like literally lost this whole debate.
Yeah, all right, whatever. You won that, Mike. Because you're wasting time. You're not answering the question. Like, I don't think you answered any of the damn questions I asked tonight.
I'm not even looking in the chat.
Come on, brother.
And I know they're laughing at y'all with that.
Yeah, they laughing. So what, brother?
Pseudo fam. That you sit through 2 hours of me talking, and now are you scared to let me give the caveat?
No, I'm not scared. I'm saying I'm trying to get you to ask a direct damn question, and you're not. You putting the question on me or Jabari. That wasn't the question, man. Man.
Lost the debate.
All right, you won that question. You don't even need to answer it. We got you, brother. What else y'all want to talk about before it's over?
Answer the question. Give me the respect to answer the question. The winner of the debate should have that right. Let me answer the question.
Please let him finish because
please let me finish.
All right.
Please let me finish. Jesus Christ, let me finish. Now, what I would have you do is go to your books, go to your mores, and ask them, why doesn't the coffin text tell us how to handle these homosexuals? Go to the pyramid text and see if there's any solution for homosexuality and negative birth rate in a sector of the community that you as a priest are supposed to care about, observe, and have an answer for. You ask me, what do we, should we have him have more babies? No. Brother, go teach him before he has a baby, before he becomes bisexual or bi-curious or any of the other things that he is, LGBTQ. But you don't care about him. Why? Because you can't teach him. Why? Because you have no system. Why? Because there's nothing written. And why? You say, let them do what they want to do. But while they're doing what they want to do, they're not birthing any children, and they're growing in number. This is what I was saying before. They're growing in numbers. They're defeating negative birth rate. How are they doing that? Because of your complacency and the fact that they're marketing homosexuality to your children. While you're not looking, while you and Sonetta are playing back and forth like this is a game, but I'm talking about the destiny of our people. And the truth in the death style of homosexuality. You see, y'all lost this one because you can't be genuine. You must be disingenuous to try to win. But tonight, you lost it all because the people see that literally you have nothing to teach against with homosexuality. You don't have a text. You don't have a teacher that's led the way and blazed trails to teach against it. Therefore, it is a mainstay in your community, and it's going to be in your community. Now, you're not going to use my answer You asked that as even a rhetorical question. Your own rhetoric will you accept? But you asked for an answer. I gave you an answer.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Go teach them what's not in your books.
All right. Thank you, brother. I'm gonna let you go, Jabari. I'm gonna let you go, Jabari. I'm gonna let you go. Hold on, Jabari. I'm gonna let you go.
I love y'all, but I had to tell y'all last up like this.
All right, now, Mike, you got it out. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate your answer, but I just want you to show me, and I want you to show me. Hold on, brother.
Please let me respond.
I'm gonna let you go, Jabari. Relax. I want you to. I just want to say this. I don't see nowhere, no Hebrews with no Hebrew schools teaching fucking homosexuals. So come on, man, cut it out. Go ahead, Jabari.
I just told you why. Because
go ahead, Jabari. Mike, you gotta let him go now. Go ahead, Jabari.
Oh, Bible
let me just say that I want you to be clear that Michael spoke for about 10 minutes altogether. And he did not answer.
Do you owe me a sidebar and a red herring? Can I do y'all like you did me? Can I do you? You're not answering the question.
What are you doing?
You're not answering the same thing y'all just did. Playing games about a serious matter.
Now,
about a serious matter.
Michael did not answer.
What is your solution, brother? What is your solution? I gave you my solution, man.
And I want to be clear with you. I did not interrupt you. I did not.
Yes, you did. You and Sarnetta did. Y'all played Ring Around the Rosie with it. With homosexuality, fam. As serious as that is.
Wait until let me know when you're.
You see how frustrating that is, Jabari? Everybody can do that. That's not honorable. That's why you're not honoring me doing it to you. Why would y'all both do that when we're talking about our community and cancer in our community of homosexuality? You see what I'm saying?
Number one, you didn't even answer his question, man. Everybody, hey, yo, family, watch this. Look at the chat room. Look in the chat room right now, Michael. If y'all feel that Michael Edwards, if you feel that Michael Edwards answered the Jabari question, press 1. Okay. Press 2 if he didn't answer the question.
Even the people that said Kim is going to agree with me tonight, brother. Even the people going to agree with me tonight.
Can I please say something here?
Go ahead, Jabari.
One of the reasons why he did not answer the question is actually quite wise. I want you to understand, Sarnetta, that he answered the question the way he did, but he actually told us what he believed, but he didn't want to say it out loud because this is YouTube and he would get damned.
We believe in love. I told you.
That's the reason why he said you should follow your text, but my text says what to do. Because he knows that he was going to reference Leviticus 20:13.
What does your text tell you to do about homosexuality? You ask me other questions, but you have no answer for it. How do you remedy it, though?
Is this how winner behaves?
No, this is how y'all behave for the past 15 minutes. Where is your answers, bro? Where are your answers?
If you really thought you were winning, would you respond this way?
I'm just trying to get you to not to lose so bad, brother. Where are your answers for homosexuality, fam?
I want you to understand.
I love you, but this is terrible, though, fam.
Mike's scared of Jabari. He's scared to let Jabari answer. Look at you, brother. Damn, Mike.
You've been dragging him by his hair around the room.
I'm scared. This is not the way you show love to your brother. This is the way that you show.
I do love you, man. I love you. That's why I'm here rebuking you like this.
I want you to stop because I listened to you.
I love you,
I
man.
even asked Sarnetta, please let him finish because I want to.
All right, hey, Mike, you could call back in when Jabari finished. Go ahead, Jabari. I had to cut him off because I can't put him on mute.
And Sarnetta, I did not want to spend the entire time talking about gay people.
I know.
Because we have really, really big issues to address.
Mm-hmm.
Gay people are not killing black men in the street and killing them with chokeholds. And this is not the most important issue in our community. And Michael would actually let you believe, he even told our caller, that the most important thing is your sexuality. And earlier he said it was absolutely, he understood why it was okay to kill black women who are not virgins and getting married. He said, yeah, I understand it, and I agree with it. I mean, I want you to understand how we would call people who take these positions, we would call them religious zealots. We would call them fanatics. And the positions that he took are fanatical. He even said, without saying, family, if you want, just listen to what he said carefully. He said, I would want you to follow your text because my text says that they shouldn't be here. That is what he said. He's referencing Leviticus 20:13 that actually says that gay people should be killed. That's what he didn't want to say, but he did say it. That is not an effective dog whistle, Michael. We heard your dog whistle. People in the chat room knew what you were saying. You have no strategy to deal with this. What I am saying is, if you're going to be gay, be with gay people. Don't mess up heterosexual relationships. Let my sisters and marry people who are eligible to them. That's what I want to happen. I'm not going to spend all of my time arguing about that. How you have 3 heterosexual dudes on a call for several hours, and most of what we talked about is gay people. Our community has very important issues. That's what we should be talking about. Because ultimately, people on my corner who can't find jobs are not in that situation because of gay people. What are our strategies to put our people to work, to rescue our families, and to rescue the names of our ancestors who attempted to be destroyed at the hands of the Europeans? Those are the issues that we should be addressing. Anyway, I would love if Michael is going to call back in for us to talk about something else. We spent a lot of time on this topic. $5 hours.
Yeah, hey, Michael.
I'm doing this. I'm here, buddy. The reason why I'm doing this is because I think this is an important conversation. I think that Michael Edwards is someone who I respect, so I wanted to have this conversation. But we have to have a better conversation. And
I agree. Hey, Mike, let me say this. Hey, Michael, I'm gonna say I think you dropped the ball tonight, brother. And the reason I'm saying you dropped the ball was because we spent 3 hours talking about fucking gay people, brother. Ain't none of us on this line is gay. What do you suppose we do? Go out there and kill gays? Come on, man. Let's be real with it. We wasted 3 hours and a half talking about gay when we could have been talking about real powerful stuff. That's where I'm thinking y'all was going to go.
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead, brother.
Can I talk right now?
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. I don't know what the power of suggestion means to the ignorant, but to the intellectuals, that means nothing. The intellectuals heard what they heard, and they saw what they saw, and they understand that homosexuality don't breed life in our community.
Brother, I'm quite sure we all know that. Everybody on this line knows that, though, Mike.
Come on.
No, I want you to hear me. We all know that already, brother. You don't think we don't know that, brother? Yeah, but I'm asking you.
You have an ounce of respect for me for a minute.
Yes,
you
brother.
Have an ounce of respect
yes.
for our friendship, brother?
So now we can't go back and forth and talk. You wanna dominate the conversation? You take too long to talk, brother. All I'm saying is we know that shit, Mike. We all know that homosexuality is not the way of life, brother. You don't think the people in the chat room know that, brother? You don't think the people in the chat room know that? Go ahead, brother.
You're not even in the debate, fam.
Go ahead, you talk.
Now, the people in the chat room ought to see that Sarnetta is debating me with Jabari, and I defeated both of y'all because of your pride, fam. Now, let me tell you why it's so important. I just told you that if there's a sector of the community that's not giving birth, why is it still in the community? It's in the community to grow like a cancer. How is it still growing? How is it changing the laws in your country? And you and Jabari sitting up there like two bumps on the log talking about it still ain't important. But they're marrying gay people in your country. The gay people have more power and more sense than some of our fallen heterosexual
That's
brothers.
why Jabari asked you the question of what do we do? What do we need to do? What are we going to do?
You want to hear yourself? Is that it?
You ain't giving no solutions. What do we do about it?
I've been giving you solution, bro, but you won't listen. You only want to hear the stupid shit that Tazariak and them tells you. But I'm telling you what God wants you to hear. And it's hard for you to accept it because it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. Any of our greats will tell you and Jabari, now y'all need to sit down and y'all need to stop disrespecting the brother just because your pride is hurting and your back is broken. You need to stop that. In the name of blackness, you need to stop that. Our people need to hear about homosexuality and effeminatism. Because look at Young Thug on an album cover with a dress, and you telling me to look over it, G? You have lost it, and you're becoming an enemy of the state because of your pride and that spirit of complacency. But our people deserve better.
So what you gonna do about Young Thug in a damn skirt, Mike? Who give a fuck about Young Thug in a skirt? What you gonna do about that? What can you do about Young Thug in the skirt, Mike? Come on, brother. You better than this, brother. You are better than this, Mike. I don't believe you.
But that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's not African.
Okay.
It's not RBG.
Now, I heard you, Mike. Let me get some time too, brother. Let me get some time now, Mike.
When you begin to do that, then you'll have an opposite and opposing view. But in a world where everybody's saying, do as you will, dude, the next thing that's going to be happening other than marrying homosexuals and giving them the same tax break.
Okay, great. Now, Mike, now,
the next thing that's going to be happening.
That's what I'm talking about. You don't know how to stop talking and get, ain't no, come on, bro. You can't dominate the damn show, Mike. You got to be quiet too sometimes and let people talk.
Brother, come on, man.
What's wrong with you, man?
Disrespectful, and I'm telling you, bro, you are so disrespectful, man. I gave you all this fucking time, man, and you're disrespecting me, brother.
No, I feel you disrespected me, Mike. You disrespect the host. That's all you've been doing is speaking. That's all you've been doing is speaking, Mike. Yes, you are, because I'm telling you, let me talk now. Let me talk now, Mike, because you wilding, you bugging. You don't know how to stop, brother. Let me talk. I'm the host. If you was on a white man show and the man said, yo, that's it, let's talk, you would be quiet. Nobody want to hear the gay shit all the time, brother. What is that shit going to do, Mike? Come on, man.
Because you're steady trying to win.
It's not about winning, man. Ain't nobody, come on, brother. I'm not trying to win nothing, brother. I'm asking a question. Here's the question I want to ask you, and you can keep on talking. Brother, here's the question I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to let you go ahead and talk again. Here's the question. What are you doing, Mike, about the homosexual agenda that's going on in the community? I don't want to hear about no goddamn Bible. What are you doing, a man of action? A man of action. Are you in the street? Are you going to their homes? Are you opening up to the community? Are you going out there to speak to them to help them? What are you fucking doing? That's what I'm asking you.
I'm fucking on this show for 3 goddamn hours.
Thank you. Nothing. In other words, nothing, brother. In other words, nothing. In other words, trying to tell us to go out there and tell homos don't be homos. That's what you doing, brother.
Your pride is terrible.
Yeah, my pride, whatever, Mike. That shit ain't working. I'm asking you, what are you doing, man? Because you're the one that care more about this shit than me. I don't give a damn about, I do not give a damn about no damn homosexuals and all that shit that's going on. Come on, brother. I don't give a damn about what them homosexuals are doing in the street. That's what they doing. That's what they doing.
I think you might be a little gay, family.
Whatever, brother. Whatever, brother.
You might be a little gay, brother.
Whatever. Good. You scored, brother. You got me. You got me. I might be a little gay. All right. That's good, Mike. Good, brother. That's good, brother. That's the best you could come up with. I might be a little gay.
Family, if you
come on, brother,
and I'm telling you, even Dr. Clark would say what I'm saying, bro. You disrespecting that. You acting like a faggot. You acting like you want homosexuality.
Just listen to you. All you've been talking about is another man, and you saying I'm acting like a faggot. And you've been talking about gay shit all day. Think about that, Mike. Listen to what you're saying.
This is what all the people people call y'all that, Sarnetta, because you reject even the truth, bro. You know I'm right. You know I'm right.
This has got to be over. This is
oh, man. We doing all this long time. I've been over. I won the debate, and y'all been doing.
You won, Mike.
I know.
You won, Mike. You won the debate, brother. You won, Mike. See, even me and Jabari saying it. You won, brother.
When y'all start teaching your community, then you will win.
Right. Right now, you won, brother. Even Jabari saying it. We saying you won, Mike.
Can we do this?
That's the same, Sarnetta. I wish it would have been better than that, bro.
All right, brother. You won though, so you good. You won.
Listen.
I know. I love you still.
It is important for us to end this on the right accord.
Yes, I love y'all.
Okay, let me say something. I stay quiet for a while. And I know that we get heated with these topics, and it's important. But I think that there's a way for us to do this in a brotherly fashion. And I know, well, no,
until the manipulation came and the pride came, we were doing
that. Hold on. For about the last 30 minutes, Mike, I mean, it's been hard to talk because we talked over everybody.
Yeah. Can we give closing statements? Because I don't want y'all to give me a reprimanding. Let's give closing statements.
I'm not reprimanding you. I'm not. I just want to say that you've said a lot of things that are not correct about the community that I've been part of for a long time.
Yeah, and that was in a debate.
And I hope that people actually will look at things for themselves and understand. You know, Mike has continually said that homosexuality is flourishing in the Kemetic community. Mike has never stepped his foot in a shrine. The only Kemetic people he knows are the ones that are on this platform. I don't even know why you say that.
I don't even know why you assume too much, bro. You assume too much.
I want you to understand that instead of talking about what's happening in my shrine and in Kemetic communities around the United States, I just hope that we all are able to, whether you agree or not, listen to people and understand that they can tell you about what's actually going on in their own community. And I just need to say that every single time I speak to someone from the Hebrew Israelite community, we end up spending most of the time talking about homosexuality. And it's really important. Because there's so much more. There's so much more that we have to address. There's so much more. I live in Harlem. You live in LA. The Black communities in our neighborhoods are being taken over by the Tambu. And we never actually set to talk about those things.
We never addressed one thing.
I'm telling you, as the Shrine of Ma'at, we're trying to do those kinds of things in Harlem. It's very difficult.
And I honor you if you are, brother. I honor you if you are.
We don't spend a lot of time talking about the issues that we've talked about here. And trying to slander brothers and say that they must be gay is also something that I just won't spend my time doing. Because Brother Jabari Osaze, my life is an open book. If you just
Sarnetta called him a faggot, brother. Sarnetta called him a faggot.
You can go,
brother. He is a damn faggot, Mike. What's wrong with you? He called himself a faggot. He calls himself a faggot, Mike. What is you talking about? What you talking about? He would tell you he a faggot, Mike.
Okay, wait.
Is he a faggot, Jabari? Is that right to call the brother a faggot?
I'm not talking about that anymore. I just
Who I'm gonna call you out, Turner and Hooch?
About that anymore.
Because go ahead, bro. Is this closing statements? Are these closing statements, brother? We need to get off of this, man. We need to get off of this.
Let me finish this. We need to elevate our dialogue because there's a lot of important things to talk about. So, with that, family, I really hope that you got something out of this debate. I think that at least the first 2/3 were really positive, and we said a lot of things that were at least interesting. Maybe the end of it devolved a little bit, but I hope that you got a lot out of the, at least the beginning, so you can truly understand what's happening in both of our communities and understand our vision for what needs to happen next, based on what we see happened in our ancient past. So, with that, peace to you, Brother Michael. And definitely peace to you, Sarnetta. Please, you go ahead and do what you need to do, Brother Michael.
Okay, here's my closing statement, family. I love you, man, and I appreciate you and Sarnetta. And the fact that we can have a heated argument about something that's very important to this extent is why I'm here, bro. Because this conversation needed to happen. Nature Boy is in our community, and he's got more people flying from here to way over there than you've ever had following you around like that. And these people are willing to live and die for a homosexual that has AIDS or something like that. And if we're slandering people, y'all calling people that guy a faggot, let's call it like it is. Look at Nature Boy. Look at Young Thug. Look at King Rasumba. Y'all acting as if this is not a problem, but it is a problem. And I'm addressing it, and the Most High sent me here to pick this sore because there needs to be some balm of Gilead pouring on it. There needs to be some healing done. And there needs to be some line drawn in the sand. So it's all in love. It's all in love. I love you, and I love Sarnetta. Whether I think y'all are stark raving mad and full of pride and still a little bit sick, that's beside the point. The debate was for a purpose. It was to save some, to inform some, and I'm sure that happened. And I want to say to Brother Sarnetta, no matter what we do, if we argue and back and forth, man, it's not unto death. I don't hate you. I've been telling you the whole time that love is the message of that Bible, and I bear it out in my life, and even in my priesthood, and in the deeds that I teach, and I do. I teach the same thing in my real life. So I'm going to do that every time you deal with me, bro. I'm going to be the real Mike. I'm not going to be the fake Mike. So I hope everybody enjoyed and learned something. And I'm telling y'all, rewind and rewind and rewind and check everything that you heard. And don't accept nothing unless it has backing and fundamental proof and foundation.
All right.
I gave that.
I'm going to say to you, my brother Mike, I want to say to my brother Mike that you know I love you, brother. You know I respect you. And whenever me and you get on this thing, it gets heated like that. The main thing is that we don't take this shit to the next level the next day where we got to make 100 damn videos banging on each other. I will not do that. I mean, that's not in me. I don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying to you, brother, is that I feel that we have wasted precious time, 3 hours and a half, talking about some gay shit that we all agree about, that we all agree upon, that we know that is not good. Each and every one of us know it's not good. Even the most of 90, I would say 95% of the people in the chat room will also know that that's not good. That wasn't important for us to talk. That wasn't important for us to talk about because that's what people talk about all the goddamn time. I mean, who's going to change Nature Boy? Who's going to change the homosexual that's out there? If you are not doing nothing out there, there's so many Hebrew Israelite camps that I know is just as fucked up as the damn gays that's out there. There's so many Muslims that I know that's just as messed up as gays out there. And so on with some of the people that's in the Kemetic community. That's just as bad as the gays out there, brother. That's the point that I'm trying to make. So we got fucked up people amongst all of us, man. We should not waste a goddamn 3 hours of the people's time talking about some gay shit. That's all I'm saying. We could have been talking about economics. We could have been talking about solutions of what we're going to do in our community. We could have been talking about the real shit in the Bible. Like, let's go in on it. Because, brother, you could go in the Bible and find misogyny all in the Bible. You can find dirt all in the Bible. You got homosexual going all through the damn Bible. What about David and Jonathan? We could go into that. You know, come on, brother. That's all I'm saying. We just wasted a lot of time, man. That's all we saying, man. And you know what? We're going to learn from this one, Michael, because the next one, we're going to learn from this, and we're going to be able to go in depth even more. You are too smart and brilliant to be just dealing with this type of subject here. We could have came with more. And I'm not just blaming you. I'm saying all of us, man. We could have came with more for the people, man. That's all I'm saying. You too smart. Y'all two brothers are too damn smart to be just talking about this one damn subject. That's all I'm saying.
When you go back and listen to it, you're gonna see how
I don't want to listen to it. I don't even want to keep this shit
It
up.
was very important.
Brother, I don't want to listen to it, and I don't even want to keep it up. I'll leave it up. I'll leave it up in time for you to snatch it because I know you want it. I know you want this shit.
I really hope you leave it up because once again, Michael Edwards needs to recognize.
Nah, I don't want to leave it up, brother. I don't want to leave it up, but I'll leave it up long enough for Mike to get it because I want Mike to grab it and get his content.
Leave it up long enough for me to get it, brother.
Right.
That's cool.
Right.
No, the debate's over, brother. We done, Jabari. We done,
Hold
brother.
on. Let me say this.
We done. You gonna leave it up for at least an hour so I can download it, brother?
Yes, I got you.
Michael, stop.
Man, because I don't want to hear nothing else. My wife is here. And y'all playing games and stuff, man.
Ain't nobody playing games, Mike. Come on, man.
I defeated you soundly, and this brother don't even want to post it to his channel.
Listen. I am asking Sonetta if you can leave it up. Because while we had some problems in the end, I think that we had some spirited debate. And I think that
cameras on the channel, and you don't take this stuff.
Please, let me speak for a moment.
God damn.
Come on, have some discipline, right?
Man, have you ever been done like that? Have you ever wasted 8 hours and then the next time you don't want to put it on the channel?
I'm trying to agree with you.
Agree with me, man. Agree with me and don't play. Shit.
Could you please? Why don't you stop so I can say something? I'm not doing that to you.
Damn.
Come on. You got to have some discipline. Our traditions are supposed to give us discipline.
Man, the discipline is over. The debate is over. Why are you still talking? I need to download this show because this brother tripping.
If you're a priest of this tradition, you
Jesus
should be
Christ.
able to just wait a moment.
Man,
Mike, I'm gonna leave it up, Mike. I'm gonna leave it up. I'm gonna leave it up, Mike, because you my brother, Mike. I don't want you to be hurt like that, man.
Listen. I'm asking you, Sonetta, to leave this up because I think the first 2/3 of this discussion, I think that people will still get a lot of information from, and I hope that they'll be able to get a better understanding of some of the answers we've provided back and forth to each other. Now, I know that I don't even know why Michael Edwards wants to put it on his channel because he's met me twice and he's lost twice. And I don't know why he would want to show that again.
You're going to always say that. Everybody that you debate.
All right, peace and Black Power family. Peace and Black Power family. We out of here, man.
No sense. That makes no sense. Everybody you debate lost.
Michael, I'm just
Come on, fam.
You should at least be able to see it as
Pharaoh. Sonetta TV, Black News 102. Whose words will survive when we purge the lies?
All right, peace and Black Power. We out of here, man. We out of here. Peace, y'all. Sorry, we gotta go. We out. Peace.
TV where two worlds collide. Might hurt to decide just who words will vibe. When we curve all the job, whether girls or guys. No herbs left alive in this earthly skies. Sonetta TV when two worlds collide. Clash of the Titans. Facts will enlighten. Some spitting mad, but they ain't half as exciting.